Hurry up and get that divorce. Sasha is no longer into you anymore, okay? So please give up that seat at his side already and let me sit there. Huh? I had thought cheating with him all this time would have gotten you to leave him by now. But you are not letting go of him even after seeing his faithlessness towards you. I get that you want to continue being the wife of a CEO, but that seat is meant for me now. So is this really who my husband has been cheating on me with? Abigail? So you've been the one sending him home after he gets out of work covered in kisses made with red lipstick. And you've been putting all those pictures of you two together in my mailbox each week. I know about you and him being a thing very well now. Well then, why have you not divorced him for me yet? You've seen all those pictures of him loving up on me, right? Sasha's into me now, and he won't be letting me go. I want to hurry this up and get married to him, and I want him to start calling me his wife. Is that so? But even after telling me things like that, it's not going to make me just hand him over to you. It's not as simple as you think for a married couple to just call it quits like that. Huh? All you have to do is sign the dang divorce papers and then hand them in. That is so easy that a baby can do it. When it comes to there being a divorce over one of the two being unfaithful, there are a lot of steps added to the process. We have to talk about how to split the properties and about the settlement that'll come after. You are such a parasite. So you've just been worried about his money all this time? This is why he doesn't want you to be his wife anymore. Excuse me? Sasha is always going on about it. He gets so upset about how much of a leech you are, and talks about how whenever he brought up wanting to separate, you'd freak out and do everything to keep him around you. But I'm telling you, all that work you put in trying to keep him with you was actually pushing him away even faster. What do you mean I'm a parasite? You're telling me that he's been talking about me that way this whole time? He's always calling you a parasite. He says you are like a leech, a tick, even a tapeworm at times. I mean, he's not wrong though, right? In order to never allow him to get rid of you, you hang on tight to his fur coat, right? You never seem to want to listen to him, and he's had enough of it. Unlike with you, he actually wants me to be around him, but he can't do that yet when you are still clinging onto his back. Huh? I'm sorry, Jenny. I know that you've given all your effort to stay attached, but it's not going to work when he is a cute and young girl ready to take you out. He told me that he's going to get rid of you once and for all and then let me climb on him instead. So now that you're aware of that, just give up on him and go find another person to latch on to. And by the way, Sasha's coming over to my place tonight to stay until you're gone. Hey, Sasha, we need to talk. I've heard that you've been calling me a parasite now, correct?
Huh? What are you talking about now? I have a lot going on right now as the CEO of a company. Right now I'm in the middle of a very important meeting, right?
What important meeting? I know that you're on a date with the girl you've been cheating on me with is all.
What?
I have been getting a lot of crap from that other woman of yours for a while now. But I guess that's only natural from someone who thinks it's all right to take a married man away from his wife. I'm sure you thought you'd be able to hide all these secret dates from me by saying you have to work and all that crap, but I've been aware of you for a while now. Honestly, I wasn't that upset then, but today I learned that you've been calling me the parasite in this relationship. I am not going to let any of that slide now.
Hey, wait. How long have you known about Abigail and I?
I think it's been a bit over a year now. And I was just texting with her a couple minutes ago. She had something very important to tell me. And that was that she wanted me to hurry up and get divorced from you. She really wants to marry you soon, so she's wanting me to rush now.
What?
Now let me talk with you about all of this. Do you really plan on divorcing me and then getting remarried to that woman you've been cheating with? We have been married for 7 years now and have been a couple for 10. You plan to crumple those 10 years with me up and throw them away?
What do you want me to say? I don't have any use for an old used-up hag like you anymore. Us men like to be around, young and good-looking women all our lives. But I'm no exception to that.
Excuse me?
Also, you are the perfect example of a parasite. There's no merit to me being married to you any longer, and that's why I'm choosing to be with Abigail now.
What about me as a parasite to you, Sasha? I have been giving it my all to support you and your business by being at your side all this time as your wife.
Who cares about that? You're nothing like a wife to me, but rather a nasty little tick. I happen to have a company and loads of money at my disposal. And that's the only reason you've wanted to be so close to me, is so that you can get all that money.
What?
I've been watching you work so hard for me, all in order to keep me from throwing you away. It's hilarious what lengths you've gone to as well. Not only will you help me with my business at times, but you do all the chores for me. When I get home, you give me those 2-hour massages I ask for, like you're afraid of losing me. You'll even go out in the middle of night to get food that I want from the store. I know that you've just been doing all that in order to stay on my skin, which means you're nothing more than a parasite to me.
You stop all that right now! You thought I was doing all of that stuff in order to keep me around you?
You sure were, weren't you? You know dang well that if I get rid of you, then you're doomed.
The reason I was doing all of that was in order to make you happy and keep our marriage life going. The reason I was giving you those messages and going out in the middle of the night to shop for you was all out of love. And the reason I did it all with a smile on my face is because if I looked upset about it, you'd flip. And then you'd go back to what you'd always told me in the past, and that is that if I didn't listen to the man of the house, you'd throw a fit, which you've done plenty of times now, like some spoiled child.
I have every right to throw a fit about it, though. I'm not going to just sit around and let a parasite get the better of me like that.
This is BS. I can see now that you have no room for discussion anymore. The only two responses I can get from you now is either calling me a parasite or getting upset with me over nothing. But I shouldn't be surprised by that since you already have another woman now.
Oh, don't worry about me listening to you anymore, because this is over with. I don't need to have a parasite attached to me anymore, and Abigail has helped me realize that. And so, because of that, hurry up, get out of my face. And with this divorce, you got to give me back all those shares you've got in my company.
What?
I gave you a whole lot of shares to my company in the past, right? You kept asking me over and over again to give them to you, so I did out of wanting to keep my own sanity. You're probably whining to me, so let you have some because you're a parasite, right? You wanted to make sure you had something to do with my company financially, in order to keep me from kicking you to the curb. Well, it doesn't work that way, Jenny. They have nothing to do with you being my wife.
You're joking, right? Do you have any idea why I have shares in your company right now?
In order to keep me from getting rid of you, right? What a freaking brainless woman. Thinking that some shares in my company would make me more open to having you as a wife long term.
I'm done with this. Sasha, you and I are through. I'll sign those divorce papers for you right now. And I'll hand you back those shares and whatever else you want.
Finishing this up now will help me out a bunch. Abigail's become a real pain in my neck recently, going on and on about how she wants to get married. I just never thought she'd actually start texting you about all of it, but I guess that just shows, well, how much she loves me.
That's right, she really wants to become the wife of a CEO. But in return for me allowing this divorce, I'd like you to be ready to pay me the settlement I'll be asking for from you.
Sure. I'll pay you whatever you ask for. I'm a CEO, after all, so it won't even bother me to fork over that kind of cash. Unlike you parasites, I actually have to be very well off.
Hearing that from you, I'm a little relieved. Well, I'm going to get in touch with my lawyer and talk this over, and I'll send you the details later. And once you've gone ahead and sent me that money that I've asked for, I'll hand in the divorce papers.
Sounds perfect. You know that I'll be agreeing to the amount you ask for, so go ahead and get ready to hand in those papers.
Thank you so much for getting that divorce, Jenny. Because of that today, Sasha and I were able to hand in our marriage forms. Congratulations on your marriage. But be careful about having an even younger and more cute woman than yourself coming up from behind and stealing him from you. I'm sorry, but you're not going to scare me by saying things like that. Sasha is so into me. There's no way on this big green earth that he would ever take his eyes off me for another woman. That's quite the confidence you have there. Now let's get to business. You've already divorced Sasha now, so hurry it up and get out of that house. We were just able to hand in our marriage forms, but not being able to live together in that house yet is a bit annoying. What? That house that you're still sitting in right now is going to be our house starting today, yet you're still sitting in there and not bothering to get out. I am the wife of a CEO now, so tell me why I should still have to live in my tiny little apartment to make room for you to be in that house with him. Get a move on and get out of my mansion. From what it sounds like, you haven't been told everything by Sasha just yet, have you? Huh? What else was he supposed to tell me? Stop it with all this stupid talk and get the hell out of my house. He's already thrown you away and chosen the younger and cuter me to have as his wife, so a loser like you needs to get out of my mansion right now. Is it really that hard for a parasite like you to find a new host? I've already gone and sold that house. Huh? So when it comes to me moving out, I'm already at my new place. You have no right to sit there and tell me to leave when that mansion is no longer in my possession. Since you don't even seem to have a clue what's going on, try talking to Sasha about it before coming to me again. Wait a second, please. The mansion's been sold? You sold my mansion? The mansion where I was supposed to be loved by Sasha in? If I remember correctly, that mansion was never yours or Sasha's to begin with. I was given that house in the settlement that came with the divorce, so it was mine before selling it. I have every right to sell whatever's mine, and I don't have to tell you a thing about it. Huh? What the hell do you mean you got that place with the settlement? I was never told any of this by Sasha. And that's why I want you to go and talk to him right now. I don't care to explain it to you, so ask him. But Sasha's a CEO, and he is way too busy every day to explain things to me. Unlike you, who has all the time in the world as a lowly parasite. Now, you tell me, what the hell is going on? Really? Sasha's been telling me about this the whole time. He said that the moment he gets rid of you, he and I are going to move into a nice mansion. He got me all excited about the new life we'd have together after getting married, but now you're going to tell me he gave that mansion to you in a settlement? No, there is no way. But there was a way. I get it. You're just trying to bully me now, huh? You think so? Settlements normally only include money in them, right? You getting the house in the settlement and then selling it without my approval? That's all been done by you as a way of harassing me and my husband. You are the most scummy and toxic woman on this planet. Would you stop going on about whatever stupid misunderstanding you have? I never wanted a mansion or anything in the settlement, to be honest. But he didn't have enough money otherwise, so I had to make do getting the place from him. So he gave me whatever money he did have and then gave me the house as well to sell. Huh? You're telling me that he didn't have enough money to pay you and had to give up his house as well? What the hell are you going on about? He's a CEO. He has all the money in the world in his pockets. He's always going on about how he has all this money saved up and it's so much we could buy an island with it. Saying things is pretty easy to do. But it's actually proving said things that can be quite difficult. And in this case, he has nothing in his savings. The company that he's running has been in the red for a long time now, and he's got a lot of debt. And because of that, the only things he could give me was his pocket change and the house. Huh? Hold on. He has $0 in his savings, and his company is in debt? What the hell do you mean? He's made himself look like a competent CEO in front of you, right? In the past, I suppose he was one, but things have changed since then. A lot has happened. After his company took off, the money got to his head and he started messing around too much. And when that was happening, he would force all his employees to do the most insane things for his company. And after all of them started to leave his company, he was left on his own to try and fix the now dying business he once had. What? A lot of his employees tried to talk with him on a serious level about what had been going on. But he would never listen to them, instead talking back in a more aggressive tone, giving them no choice but to quit. So because of all that, he is now barely running a company that's completely in the red. But he is still a CEO, so you understand that all kinds of companies have debt at some point, right? He should know how to handle all that, right? It would be crazy for him not to know what to do. Right when his company was on the verge of going bankrupt, I saved it. I have actually been a holder of quite a large number of shares in his company, so I happen to have some weight in his company. Are you serious? When I started to realize that he had turned into a psycho when it came to managing his company, I stepped in and bought a ton more shares in his company to keep it above water. And ever since the first time I bought those shares, I've been doing my best to keep things going there. But of course, since he has no idea what's going on with his own company and is just fooling around all the time, he doesn't really know that I've been behind the scenes running the operation. When I did bring up the fact that I have a large portion of the shares in his company, he just started to call me a parasite and said he gave those all to me. What? I had really tried so hard to help his company continue on, but recently some very crazy things happened, and due to that, well, his company is right back on the slippery slope to hell. And all due to the fact that the woman he was cheating on me with thought it would be funny to brag about how she's been with my husband, that I'm a parasite to him. Since that first time you texted me about all that, I've become really tired and don't bother with Sasha's company anymore. No! Honestly, it's so funny to watch how deep in the red his company is falling. Everyone he still had working with him now is left. I felt bad that they were all leaving without any kind of money for it, so I've been giving them a check from the money I gained after selling the mansion. A lot of these people have worked for Sasha for a long time and deserve a package. So I'll use the money from their CEO to do just that. That's why he has nothing left then? It's all either gone to me to pay for the settlement or it's gone to the banks? Did you know, though, that in the divorce, he also asked me to give back the shares I had? It was so hilarious watching him learn about what was really happening at his company. I was pissing myself as his smile faded to a blank stare at the wall. Jenny, do you have any idea how much debt his company is still in right now? If it's just a small amount, then he'll be able to fix things, no problem, right? I'm sure that if he put a little more effort into it, he could become a competent CEO again, right? As of right now, he owes $6 million. He never paid any attention to the debt he was getting into and continued to borrow more and more money. $6 million? No way. How the hell could he get that deep into debt? Congratulations on becoming the wife of a CEO. It's rare to see someone marry a CEO who's about to lose their company and be stuck with $6 million worth of debt. You must really love Sasha for the man he is then. Huh? What the hell do you mean? Do you think it's funny congratulating me for this? I am not messing around anymore. This is not at all the life I was expecting after marrying him. Well, I'm going to go now, all right? You can both do something about this yourselves, okay?
Hey, Jenny, why the hell did you tell her about the truth?
Wow, it's been a bit since I last heard you calling my name. Normally you just talk to me without ever saying my actual name to me.
Right now, none of that matters. I want to know why you told Abigail about everything. Because of you, something major is happening that's going to really screw things up for me.
Huh? Why are you blaming me for your BS now? I wasn't the one texting me about how I needed to hurry up and get out of the mansion. So I had to teach her everything that was actually going on since someone else forgot to. It's your fault for not telling her the truth about yourself sooner, right?
I have no reason to be telling her things like that, though. She was looking forward to moving into a mansion this whole time. She'd go out every day and buy furniture that she thought would look good in the place. We talked for days and days about how we'd have the mansion set up and decorated. Yet during all her excitement, you went and told her you took the house and sold it.
I also made sure to tell her about your failing business. I'm sure she'd want to run away from a CEO who's in debt by millions and soon won't even have a company anymore.
Seriously? Why would you do this to me? She's running around right now, getting all her things together to leave me, and she's getting ready to go out that door. It's only a matter of time. If this really does spell the end for us being a couple, it'll be all your fault.
I don't give a crap, you jackass. This is what you get for fooling around with other women when you were supposed to focus on your company. And let's be honest, you only have one chance to get her to like you again, and that's by fixing your company's situation and making all that money back.
But all of that's your fault. You were the one that allowed my employees to leave the company without ever telling me. I went back into the office for the first time this year. There are only 2 people in there working.
And if you were to put a bit of effort into it and get that company back on its feet, then more people would want to work for you again. This is your time to show that you are a competent CEO. You're going to have to start stepping up your game if you want to impress those cute young women around you. Hey, Jenny, you are the worst. You give me the money from the mansion you sold right now. Jesus frickin' Christ. The only reason I married Sasha is because I thought he'd be this super rich, good-looking CEO that I could ride on. But to learn that he's in terrible debt, he scammed me. He said there'd be a mansion for me and everything, but all of it's nowhere to be found. So I'm going to divorce him now and get the money I deserve from him. I was lied to and made the victim here, so I have the right to his money. That's true. He sure did lie to you about how he had all this money in his savings and everything. I can't say you're wrong for saying that he scammed you. I totally understand why you want to get a settlement from him. I'm sure you do. I have the right to get money because of all this. But you shouldn't be asking for that money from me. I think you're very wrong asking me for my money. Huh? How the hell am I supposed to get money from someone who doesn't have any? He doesn't have a house, a car, or any money now. So I would like you to give me some of that money you received for selling the mansion. So after stealing my husband, you want to take my money? You really are a bold little frick, aren't you? Shut up and just give me the money. You all are the worst people ever. I never thought that Sasha was that kind of horrible man. I even ended up ending the lease on my apartment thinking that I'd be moving into a huge house with him. Oh, you ended your lease? Well, then the both of you are more similar than I thought. You both now live homeless with no money to spare. I am not going to listen to you talking to me like that. Well, then turn off your phone. I'm telling you right now that I am nothing like him because I still have money. I did end up quitting my job, though, thinking I'd have myself a sugar daddy. But before I quit, I was working all the time and saving up. Wow, so you are a bit more serious about yourself than I thought. I happen to have $30,000 right now. It's amazing for someone in their early 20s to have that kind of money in savings, right? That is pretty amazing. But all that money is going to be coming to me now, right? So in the end, you and Sasha are very much alike. You both won't have a house or any money. What? I have to pay you? I still haven't gotten any money from you yet in that settlement. It was all your fault that my life with my husband ended up falling apart, right? So you're going to have to be responsible for what you've done. What? I'm sorry for making you get on your high horse there, bragging about your money. I really didn't know you had that kind of money on you. But it sure does make me feel happy knowing you do indeed have the money for me. I might not be getting the full amount I was going to ask for from you, but $30,000 will do. You're lying. Wait a sec. You already got money from both the house you sold and his pocket change, right? Yet you still want more money? That money was from Sasha, and I still would like my share from you. You both have to be responsible for your screw-ups. No way, that's not okay. I already got rid of my apartment, and I don't have a job anymore. And now you're going to steal all of my savings? I'm not stealing anything from you. I just happen to have the right to your money is all. Now I would like you to start getting that money in order for when my lawyer contacts you. I was nice in letting you have my husband, right? So as a thank you for that, I'd like you to send me a present. Right after that, I went and spoke to my lawyer, letting him know that Abigail did indeed have the money for me and that I'd like $30,000 from her. I got a call soon after from her, screaming and crying in my ear, so I handed the phone over to my lawyer and let him have a word with her. And after a few hours, In one large transfer, I got all the money I had asked for. According to some rumors I've heard, Sasha was not going to let Abigail get away in a divorce, and made sure to drag him into his horrible situation of having to try and save his dead company. But in the end, those last 2 employees of his quit, and the company was just left to those 2. However, even with all the effort they put into trying to keep things going, they only sank deeper and deeper into the red. As of right now, I've heard that those 2 are still trying to fix things, but in order to do so, they have both had to stay in that office 24 hours a day, and are pretty much making it their home. When it comes to myself, I've taken all the money from both settlements and the house I sold and started a business of my own. I learned through Sasha's company that I was actually quite good at managing a business and thought this would be the perfect next step for me. I've already started hiring some of the people that used to work for Sasha, and I feel if things go well for me this year, I can start to live life as a CEO myself.
Hey there, Nancy. I heard that you were trying to get pregnant. Are you really going to try and have your kid before the year's over? Sorry, you heard what now? I'm just saying that if you wanted to have your kid before the year is up, you should start getting busy now, don't you think? Or are you pregnant right now? Don't tell me that you're already pregnant. No, I'm not currently pregnant. Why are you even asking me about this all of a sudden? Well, it's just that my daughter Hillary is pregnant right now, and she was saying that she wanted to come back home to give birth. Oh, I see. I didn't know that Hillary was pregnant. That's amazing news. And I told her that of course I'd be so happy if she came back here to have her baby, but I just wanted to check with you that that would be okay since you're living in our home too. So I just wanted to make sure that you weren't pregnant, because if you and Hillary were both pregnant, that would just be too much. Oh, I see. Well, I really appreciate you thinking about me and asking me about this. Of course, thank you for answering my questions so clearly. Of course, I didn't actually think that you were pregnant right now or anything. So maybe there wasn't even any point in asking. I mean, after all, you've been married to my son for 5 years and you still haven't had a kid. I already assumed that you just have no intention of giving me a grandchild. Honestly, I doubt if you could even get pregnant. So sorry for wasting both of our time even bringing this up with you. I guess it was silly of me. Hold on a second, Nancy. I really don't think that there was any need to talk to me like this. I mean, you know that Owen and I want a child, right? Well, if you want, I could have Hillary share with you some tips on how to make sure you can get pregnant. Of course, given your age, I really don't know how well they would actually work for you, so maybe there would be no point in asking that of Hillary either. Nancy, I really don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I'm barely even into my 30s. Oh, well, in that case, I'll call Hillary right now and tell her to reach out to you with an idea on what might work. I know that she'll be more than happy to help you get pregnant just like her, and then you can finally give me the grandchild that I've been waiting so long for.
Hey there, Paula. I just wanted to say thank you so much for letting me stay with you all while I'm pregnant. It really is a huge help, and I'm so grateful to you for giving my mom the thumbs up. This is my first time being pregnant, so I'm just so nervous that something might go wrong, you know? Yeah, I can't imagine what you must be feeling. Please let me know if there's anything that I can do for you. I mean, I have work, of course, but if I can help, I don't mind at all. Oh, thank you so much. Actually, since you're offering, there is one thing that I'd like to ask you. Would you mind getting all the things I'll need for a baby ready for me? Sorry, all of the things? What exactly do you mean by that? Oh, I mean like the carriage and the bed and some clothes. Make sure you get good sheets, but nothing that might irritate a baby's skin, okay? And make sure you go and get lots of baby food as well, and I'll probably have cravings, so make sure to buy me some sweets while you're out, okay? Now, wait just a second there, Hillary. You're asking me to buy all of those things for you? I'm sorry, but you can't get some of those things by yourself? Well, sure I could, but I'm going all the way to my mom's to stay, so it would just be better if all those things were already there when I arrived, you see? Well, I guess that does make some sense, yeah. But I'm just worried I'll end up getting things you don't like. Are you sure you wouldn't want to do all this shopping with me once you're here? I could even just lend you my car if you wanted to handle it on your own.
No, we don't have to go and do all that. I mean, what's wrong with you getting all of that for me? I'm sure you can just ask the staff and they'll recommend you good things to get. I see. Well, I guess I can do that. Would you mind telling me your budget so that I don't go over what you can afford? And are you going to write me a check, or were you going to just wire the money on an app? Hold on a second. You mean that you're not going to buy all of those things for me? What's the matter with you? I thought you would have gotten all that as a gift for me. I mean, I'm pregnant, for crying out loud. Think of it as a gift for me for having a child. Well, I was thinking of getting you a couple of things, but I don't know if I can afford to get all that a baby would need. So you're saying that you really can't spare any money at all for my baby that's on the way? I would have thought you'd have plenty saved up. After all, you've been married to my brother this long and you still don't have a kid. And since you've been living at my parents' house, it's not like either of you have been paying rent or anything like that either. Surely you can spare a couple grand to help me get things ready for my baby, right? You want a couple grand, as in thousands of dollars? It's not like I'm asking for $1 million or anything, but anyways, I'll go ahead and send you a list once I have one written up. Thank you so much for doing this. You really are saving me so much trouble. I really appreciate it. Hey, Owen, did you know that your sister is going to be coming to stay with us until she gives birth? Because I was just told about it by your mom and her, and I haven't heard anything from you.
Of course I knew this was going to be happening. Isn't it exciting? We're going to be an aunt and uncle to my sister's new baby. This is so great.
I really don't think that you should be treating this whole thing so lightly, Owen. I mean, did you know that your sister is expecting me to buy all of the things she needs for when her baby comes? Do you have any idea how much that's going to cost? Because your sister said that I owed it to her as a gift.
Well, yeah, of course. What's wrong with that? It's only natural that we give my sister a wedding gift. What's your problem?
Sure, I'd be down to buy her a few things for her baby, but did you read my message? She told me that she expected me to buy all of it. She sent me the list of what she wants, and it's huge. By the time I get all of this, I'll have probably spent something like $3,000.
Hold on, everything my sister wants from you is going to cost that much money? Well, whatever, I said that we'd give it to her.
Oh, and you can't be serious about that.
I'm sorry, Nancy, but we've been married this long and still haven't had kids, even though I know my parents really want grandchildren. And honestly, it's something that I feel like a failure about as their oldest child, so it really is the least we can do, don't you think?
You're really trying to make up for not having kids with me by spending $3,000 on your sister? If you really want to pay that much money, then you can pay for it all with your own money.
Oh, come on, don't be ridiculous. You know that I couldn't afford something like that with just my salary. Besides, my sister sent you the list, so you have to pitch in.
I am more than happy to buy a few things on this list, but I am not going to be splitting it and paying $1,500.
Well, if you're too cheap and don't want to spend money on family, then you should have gotten pregnant by now. And then we wouldn't have to do this. So if you're looking for someone to blame this on, how about you start with yourself?
Oh my gosh, you are being ridiculous. Do you know that? Why are you acting this way?
Because I'm the eldest child, and I always thought that I'd be giving my parents their first grandchild. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it is for me now that Hillary is pregnant? I even heard that my mom asked my sister to give you advice on how to get pregnant. I think that one hurt me the most. Don't you see how much I've been through already because of this? And you're still gonna try and make me pay for this.
Oh, and I understand that living with your parents might make you feel a bit more pressure than if we weren't. But you hardly even contribute anything around here. We haven't even slept in the same room for the past year, and I don't see things improving for us.
Oh, just shut up. You don't understand what I'm going through. Why don't you just be a good wife? Buy my sister what she wants. And until you have a kid of your own, stop complaining about the things that we should be doing for family.
I can't believe that you actually said that. What is the matter with you?
I'm just saying that since you don't have a kid, I'm free to leave you whenever I want. Never forget that. And if you do have a problem with that, then we can just go ahead and get divorced. So there. It's your fault I feel this way. So it's up to you to buy what my sister wants.
Paula, Paula, what the heck is going on here? Why do I have to sleep in the cramped little bedroom right next to the living room? Did you really think that I came all the way back home just to be cramped into a tiny closet like that? Well, Hillary, I really am sorry. We tried to make as much room for you as possible, and that's what we were able to do. I really can't believe this. You really expect me to be able to sleep in some cramped little bedroom full of baby goods? I come all the way back here to do the honor of giving my parents their first grandchild, and you're treating me as if I were the help. How do you expect me to live like this? What about my room? This is my family's house, and I want to stay in my room. But Hillary, you know that I've been in your room ever since you moved out and I moved in, right? Of course I know that. What's your point? You should have offered me your room when I arrived here. I'll take my room back and you have that broom closet. That should set everything about right. I'm really sorry, Hillary, but I work from home half the time and I need the larger room because it doubles as my office. I don't have anywhere else to put my work stuff and I don't feel like renting out office space. Well, then why don't you just go into your office and work there then, huh? Or go and set up at a cafe or something. Heck, you can go work in the shed for all I care. You really expect me to do my work out in the shed? Well, at least if you were completely out of the house, I could turn the broom closet room into a baby feeding room and still have my room to stay in. Hold on a second, so I wouldn't just be working in the shed, I'd also be sleeping there? Do I understand that right? Well, of course you'd be sleeping there. How else would I get 2 rooms if you were still using one of them? Anyways, my mom and brother all agree that this is a good idea. So from now on, you'll be sleeping in the shed. Got it? You mean that you're with your brother and mom right now? I thought that they were both supposed to be at work. Well, they both took the day off to come and pick me up from the airport. Besides, my mom told me that she quit her job. She said that she wanted to be able to help me any time of the day that I needed it. And Owen told me that he took a bunch of days off just for me. After all, there's still going to be plenty to do around the house. And if it's just going to be us women, I'd feel much better with a man in the house. Well, neither of them told me any of these plans to take work off. I mean, they didn't even take the day off to help me celebrate my birthday last year. Well, that's probably just because they care a lot more about me than they do about you. Haven't you figured that out yet? But even though they're going to be here to help, I am still going to rely on you for most of what I need. And just why would you even do that when you have 2 people staying at home specifically for you? Well, because it was always my plan to have you take care of me while I was here. Like, if the baby wakes up in the night or needs its diaper changed, that was going to be all you. And then once you're done with all that, you can go back out to the shed and go back to bed. Get it? That sounds like a horrible life. Why would I agree to that? So not only am I being cast out in the shed, but I'm also going to be in charge of taking care of your every whim? That's right! Don't tell me that you have a problem with that, because you don't even have children, so you really don't have room to argue. You know what? I'm just going to go and stay with my parents for a while. Good idea! Go do that and never ever come back. It's not like you ever did anything good for my family anyways. After all, you never even had a kid. But man, you should see how upset my mom and brother are right now. They are seriously just pissed. They never ever want to see you again. So go home. We don't care. You can just send us money from over there and we won't have to put up with you. You think I'm going to send you money? No. If I leave like this, then I'm asking Owen for a divorce. Hold on a second, you're not serious about that, are you? You're really going to divorce my brother all because you couldn't have kids? You realize that at your age, nobody is ever going to want to marry you, right? You realize the mistake you'll be making if you do this. The only mistake I'll be making is staying with the family that's about to make me sleep outside in a shed. I would much rather just divorce Owen and go back to living with my parents until I find a new home. And by the way, I will be taking everything that's mine from the house when I leave. What are you talking about? What if the house is yours? You're crazy. Do you know that? Paula, what the heck is the matter with you? Where is the fridge, the TV, the stove? Why is it all gone? You bring those back right now. I can't believe that you stole all this stuff from us. I thought you meant you were going to be taking your clothes and stuff, not the appliances. I told you yesterday, didn't I? I said that I was going to be taking back all the stuff that I had bought for the house.
But I thought you meant small things like some glasses or decorations or something like that. Why did you take the fridge?
Well, that's because your brother kept bugging me about your mom needing a new fridge. When we finally went to go and buy one, he made me pay for it, so I guess maybe I had some other uses aside from baby making.
You mean that you bought my mom's fridge?
That's right, and now I'm going to be taking that and everything else that I bought back with me.
Hold on a minute, though. You can't do that. I mean, you're taking essential appliances here. How are we supposed to live? Don't you know that I'm about to have a baby? Where am I supposed to put my milk?
I don't know why you're asking me. I've divorced your brother, so you and I have nothing to do with one another. Why would you even ask me what to do about your baby? After all, I've never been pregnant. I've never had a baby. I wouldn't know.
Oh, come on. You know exactly what you're doing, don't you? You really think that you can just walk out of my house with all our appliances? Don't you understand that you're just going to end up hurting an innocent baby? Do you really not care what happens to it at all? You're a monster.
Well, it's a bit late to ask me to take things back. I've already sold most of the things I took from the house online. And if you need baby things, then maybe you should go out and buy them yourself. Or ask your mom or brother to buy you the things that you need. Otherwise, things might get kind of tricky for you.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean that if your mom really did quit her job and Owen is still on the verge of being fired like he has been, then I really don't actually see how they'd be able to help you since they're not going to have income soon.
But if Owen gets fired, then I really won't have any way to take care of this baby. What am I going to do?
I don't know, but I'm just letting you know that after I dropped off the divorce papers, I was told I'd have to fill out another form for Owen's work. So I called the office to ask about it, and the woman on the phone was shocked because she thought I was about to have your baby. Apparently, Owen had told his boss that I, his now ex-wife, was pregnant, not you. And so he took off work using paternity leave. Well, I ended up explaining that to his manager, and she was also just shocked. So basically, your brother lied to his work about his life so that he could take this time off for you.
But I had no idea that he had gone and done any of that.
Well, anyways, that's probably why he'll actually be getting fired. He had gotten in trouble for doing similar things like this before. But he's never actually lied about something this big or asked for this much time off. And when I told his manager that not only was I not pregnant, but I was also being exiled to sleep in the shed and live like a servant, well, I think that really clinched it.
You're kidding me. You mean to tell me that you told his bosses everything that was going on here?
Well, they kept asking me questions about Owen. To be honest, it sounded like they already had their own suspicions of him. So I was more than happy to help them clear up anything that wasn't adding up for them.
You traitor! How could you do this to us?
Well, you know, the funny thing was that in the end, there actually wasn't any paperwork that I did have to give them. It was all just a clerical error that sent me to them.
I don't believe you. You had to know what you were doing. This is your way of getting back at us, isn't it? You know that by calling them, you could have a chance to tell them about the divorce.
I am sure that I have no idea what you're talking about. After all, this is my first time getting divorced, and I just wanted to make sure that I did everything right. You have no idea all the paperwork that I've had to do alongside the ones for the divorce. It was never my plan to rat out Owen for his truancy. But anyways, that's just about all I had to say to you. It sounds to me like you have lots to talk about on your end as well. But I hope the pregnancy goes well. Tell Owen good luck with his job hunt. He'll need it. And so, as repo men went in and out of Nancy's house, clearing out anything that I had saved receipts for, Owen got the call from his manager telling him that he was being fired for lying about his paternity leave. He was also going to be charged for the pay he had received while off. As appliances and other things went missing, Owen and them all realized how much it was going to cost to replace them, buy things for the baby, and make ends meet for the three of them. First, all three of them had to sell all their luxury goods online to try and earn some quick pocket money. After that, Owen had to go out and find a job. But no one was going to hire him since he couldn't explain why he had been let go from his last position. I heard that even after Hillary had her baby, her marriage didn't last long afterwards, and she ended up staying with Owen and their mother. That was the last piece of gossip I had heard through the pipeline. I really do feel sorry for Hillary's baby, but at this point, I can only hope that this serves to teach those three a lesson that they'll carry with them in the future.
Hey, Oliver, where are you right now? I finally had our baby and you're not even around to come and see its face?
I'm sorry, Karen. I had some things going on.
You had things going on that are more important than your baby being born? Even both my parents and your parents are here with me. Why is the father of this child the only one not present?
If you already have your mom and dad and my parents there to see the baby, then I don't have to be there, right? I'm busy at the moment, getting ready to run off with a new woman. So please just shut up for me.
What? Did you just say you're going to run off with a new woman?
Sorry about that, Karen. I'm not going to be able to stick around with you to raise that baby. I'm leaving this house, so please care for it on your own.
Huh? You hold it right there. What do you mean you're not sticking around to raise our baby? And you're running off with a new woman? Are you telling me that while I've been pregnant, you've been cheating on me with another woman?
Hey. Don't get too far ahead of yourself there. I've not been cheating on you. It's only that I haven't been able to forget about my ex-girlfriend this whole time.
Your ex-girlfriend?
I'm sure I've told you about her before, right? This is the ex-girlfriend that I'd been dating for 10 years before I married you. A lot happened between us, so we were never able to go through with the marriage. But this whole time I've been with you, I've still had a bit of fire in my heart for her.
What?
I thought that by getting married to you, that love for her would fade. And by having a kid with you, that would do the trick for getting me to forget her, but even after hearing that we were having a kid, I've not been able to forget her. So that's why I've gone ahead and told her that I want her back.
You're lying, right? Wait a second. I have gone 9 months now carrying our baby that you wanted me to have so badly for you and never getting a break during that whole time. And now, after I had just gone through labor to have our baby, you're going to tell me that you're running back to your ex-girlfriend?
I only texted her about it today, but to my surprise, she said it was totally fine for me to go back to her. It looks like I wasn't the only one wanting to go back to the past relationship I had with her. She told me that after hearing about how I'd gotten married to you, she's been sad this whole time. She wants me back with her, so I have no other choice now but to go back.
So you're telling me that the plan now is to run back to her and then the both of you are going to peace out? Even though your baby was just born?
Oh, nobody's going to stop the love we have with one another. There are plenty of single mothers in this world, so you'll be just fine. So I'm leaving the baby and all that in your hands now.
No way.
I'm going to be running off now, so you can go ahead and keep living in that house. You won't even have to pay any rent for the place, so that should make life a little bit easier for you, right?
Please, Oliver, come here right now. I would like for all of us to talk about this before you just run off like that. You haven't even taken a look at your baby's face either. I'm sure when you take a good look at your baby's face, your mind will be changed. Hey, you're going to try to use your baby to keep your relationship together? That's not a good sign. I guess after becoming a mother, you forgot how to be a decent human, huh? What? Nice to meet you, Karen. This is Oliver's ex-girlfriend, Amber. I'm glad you made it through the labors of giving birth to a child, and I'm sorry that I am stealing Oliver from you now. Ah, you're Oliver's ex-girlfriend? He and I are married right now, and I just gave birth to our child. You give Oliver back to me right now. Say that all you want to me, but Oliver is only interested in me now, and I'm not giving him back to you because he was mine in the first place. Huh? There is not another man around me who is as cool and kind as Oliver. And back when I heard about him marrying another woman besides me, I was really heartbroken. But to hear that even after having a child with you, he would still rather be back in my arms, well, it's gotten me all excited. I'm sorry for being such a gorgeous ex-girlfriend. Well, it's not that I'm so gorgeous, but rather you're just not good-looking enough. It's really sad that you weren't able to keep your husband away from his ex.
Excuse me?
Well, good luck being a single mother. In return, I'll make sure to make Oliver the happy man he always should have been around you. And just think of that baby as being Oliver and raise it with all the love you gave him.
Hey, can you give me that house soon? I'm not happy about how you went and changed the lock on the door without ever telling me.
What? Oliver?
Jesus. It's been 10 years and I'm wanting to come back into my house. And now I can't even get in. Hurry up and let me in. Do you have any idea whose house this is?
Wait a second, Oliver. You came all the way back to this house? Even though 10 years ago you ran off with that Amber chick of yours?
Amber and I have broken up. That's why I've made the trip all the way back to my house.
You guys broke up?
Well, a lot happened. And after breaking up, I thought I should find a place to lay low for a while and be by myself. That's when I thought about my house, and I haven't been back in a long time. And that's why I want you to get to it and let me inside. I'm the owner of this house.
So since you've come all the way back here, does this mean you want to live with us again? You want to be with me? And with my daughter?
Are you kidding? Why would I want to live with the woman I left behind 10 years ago? And that daughter of yours, I've never even seen her before. I've nothing to do with that brat, so there's no way I want to be living here with two of you here as well. I've come all the way back here, so you and that kid of yours, get out of there now.
What did you say?
Why are you getting so upset? The owner is back in town, so I have the final say. I've been so kind these past 10 years, letting you both stay in here. But now that I want the place back for myself, you squatters need to get lost.
You hold it right there. I don't mind having to leave this house, but what do you mean you have nothing to do with my daughter? You are still her father, whether you want to accept that or not.
I get that she shares the same blood as me, so biologically I'm her father. It's been 10 years. I still haven't seen her face yet. It'd be wild of me to think of her as my family, and I don't know who she is.
What the?
Also, since I ran off the moment she was born, that means she's now, 10 years old, right? Had I come back after a year when she was still a baby, she'd probably still be cute to me. But now she's one of those annoying little runts that goes to elementary school. I actually hate brats her age the most. I cannot stand their high-pitched voices and stupid behaviour.
You really love to call your own daughter a brat? I guess you never stopped growing into a worse person after leaving me. I haven't even heard a sorry from you yet for leaving me 10 years ago. All you're back here for is the house, showing no emotion towards me or your daughter and just wanting us gone.
Say whatever you'd like about me, but this house is still going to be mine. My name is on it after all. So you don't get a say in what I do with it and who gets to live in it. If anything, you should be thankful I've let you live here for 10 years without kicking you both out. I want to hear you thank me. Right now.
Huh? You think you were being so kind, but did you forget about paying things like child support? I am not going to give you anything back now after 10 years of having to literally support my daughter on my own.
Oh, what are you going on about now? This house was built in one of the best parts of town. The cost of having to pay taxes and for utilities on a place like that costs far more than even 2 months of child support. So think of all those costs that I've been paying off as part of the child support. Since you've been able to raise your daughter in such a good part of town, I'm sure she's grown into a good little girl, right? They always say to have a good neighbourhood when raising a kid, and this place is perfect for her.
They say good environment, not neighborhood. The neighborhood is, of course, important, but it's not everything. There are things like whether the child has both parents around them and whether or not there is a stable flow of money into the house.
And there has to be enough activities going on to keep the child happy. There are a lot of things that are really important to a child for their growth, meaning that it's not only about the neighborhood.
You're starting to talk too much. I've had enough of your whining, so go grab the little brat and get out of here. What other choice do you have? Do you think you can just keep living in there without paying for anything? Well, I don't mind calling the police on you right now, having them arrest you for trespassing.
Excuse me?
Then, when you go to court, I'll have the judge make you pay me back for the last 10 years of living in that house. How does that sound to you? But remember, a poor, single mother like you would never have the kind of money to pay me all that, so think wisely right now.
You have really fallen into hell, haven't you? All you care about is yourself. And never think for a second that there could be other things going on that don't revolve around you. I wonder how much longer you'll be able to get away with being a totally selfish prick before someone bigger than you comes along and squashes you.
Shut up. I'm done with all this. Now, get the hell out of my house. This is my house. My name is on the place and I've been living there forever. And I don't need some poor woman and her annoying brat living in it anymore. Give me my dang house back.
We've moved out of there a long time ago.
What?
So tell the person currently living there that and see what they think. From the very start, my daughter and I haven't been in that house.
Hey, what do you mean by that? Who's living in this house now then? You're telling me that you haven't been living in this house with your daughter for the past 10 years.
The moment I had my baby, my husband ran off with another chick, right? After something like that, it was pretty obvious to me that I wouldn't be able to raise her in that large house when it's just the two of us. So right after getting out of the hospital, I took my baby and some things and went back to my parents' house. And with the help of my mom and dad, I've been able to raise my daughter with not too many worries.
Huh? I have been letting you borrow this house all this time, and you haven't even been living in it.
I never asked for you to let us live in it while you ran off, right? But leaving a house empty like that isn't a great use of such a gorgeous place, right? And not too long after going back to my parents' house, there were people asking to live in it.
Don't you freaking dare tell me you've been renting the place out to some strangers now.
Don't worry. You happen to know the person just as much as I do, so they're not a stranger.
So then the person living here, I know them.
Someone you know, or one might say, a friend of a friend. I happen to let your ex-girlfriend's parents move into that house.
What? Amber's parents?
At the time, they felt the most responsible for what happened. They even came all the way out to the hospital to apologize to my parents and I for what their daughter did. And as a way of showing that they were sorry, they said they'd go live in your house that you left behind.
Wait. This doesn't make any sense. Why'd they come and live in my house as a way of apologizing to you? What kind of apology is that?
They both told me that they wanted to catch the two of you in order to get you both to pay me back for all you'd done. So they'd said they'd stay in your house and wait for the eventual day you'd come back to it.
What?
They said they didn't mind how long it took you to come back because the longer it took you to come back, the longer they got to live in that nice home. They also told me that when they were able to catch you, they'd make sure you both paid a settlement to me and all the child support you owe. So I told them it was the perfect way of saying sorry to me and let them move in a few days after I had my daughter.
So you're telling me that at this house, the one I've been banging on the door for the past 30 minutes.
That's where Amber's parents are living. So now that I know you're there, I'm going to give them a call. I'll let them both know that the man outside their house right now is the one we've been looking for. The one that ran off with their daughter, leaving his wife and baby behind. That crappy excuse for a man. I'm calling them right now.
What?
A lot happened that made you both break up. I've known for a long time about how you both broke up. The moment that Amber became pregnant, you told her that you hate kids and then left her.
No.
I always thought that the moment you left her, you'd come right back home. And not even a day after hearing about you leaving her, you're right back in town. Well, good luck now. You are going to have to deal with her parents now, as well as with whoever else might be involved, like Amber and her baby. I'm also going to let your parents know that you're back in town.
No freaking way. This is, not good. You're joking, right? There's no way her parents are living here. Amber's parents are crazy.
I don't think you should call them crazy. But you're not wrong to be afraid of them, especially when they both work for the state police. I heard that the two of them have a lot of influence in both the police force and in the court system. That's why they're both dead set on having you pay me everything I'm owed. Now, good luck with what happens next.
Please help me. If I can't get out of this mess, I'm going to be killed.
Huh?
Amber's parents are so pissed off with me right now that I'm scared for my life. Her dad is holding an axe in one hand and has been standing right beside me the whole time. They keep yelling at me, asking why I threw you away after having our baby, and then ran off with their daughter. And they're asking me why I've done it twice now. Her dad keeps telling me that I'm going to take responsibility for all my actions, and that the only other choice for me lies on the other end of that axe.
Well, they want to know why you did all that. You left me and my baby to run off with their daughter 10 years ago. And by how they apologized to me back then, they weren't all too happy with you, but then, just a decade later, you did the same thing again, but this time to their daughter who just had her baby. And you thought you could just run back to your house and not be punished for all that? I don't blame them for wanting to kill you.
But I never wanted a kid. The reason I ran away from you is to be alone with her and live life as only the two of us. But recently, Amber just kept going on and on and on about wanting a baby of her own. She must have stopped taking birth control without telling me, and that's how she got pregnant. And after telling me she was pregnant, she instantly started talking about the cost of raising a baby and that we need to change in order to become proper parents for it. I was freaked out at the time by how quickly things changed on me. I didn't know what to do.
So you've just been destined to always run off with other women the moment your current lady has a kid? But this time, things changed for you, right? This time, instead of finding another woman to run off with, leaving Amber behind, you left her and ran back to your house to try and live as a single man. All in order to run from your responsibilities again, huh? What a joke you are.
What did you call me?
This is going to be your last chance to take responsibility for all you've done. There is no more running away from everything you've done, and you'll have to answer for it all now. There isn't even a place for you to hide anymore.
This is screwed. It looks like Amber has come here now as well. Her parents called for her to come here while her dad was dealing with me, and now they're all here waiting to welcome me into hell. I can hear everyone yelling at me to be a man and take responsibility for everything I've done. I'm screwed. This is it for me.
That's right. Now that you've come back out of hiding, you're going to have to pay 10 years worth of child support to me and another 8 years after. Then you are going to be asked to marry, forced to marry Amber and live a life under tight control as her parents watch your every move trying to take care of her and your baby. I really hope they're able to help you along in a life that is more than just you running at every chance you get.
What? I have to pay you child support as well?
Of course you did, you idiot. Even if you don't love my daughter any, she is still your child. Your parents have been kind enough to send me money every so often, but that doesn't make up for everything you should owe me. And there are still years to come that you'll have to send me money. So now that you are aware of all that, have a nice time talking with everyone some more. Hey, what the hell is up with this invoice you've sent me? Why do I have to pay you a settlement now? You're asking me? Because you went and stole my husband from me. For a long time now, I didn't know where you guys ran off to, so I couldn't send you the information about it. So I'm really happy you both are back in town now. I will finally be able to get all the money I deserve. I'm not messing around here. I have a child now that I need to support. Who in their right mind would take money from a new mother? Well, that's your situation now, but 10 years ago you didn't have a kid. And by the way, the only reason you were able to get married to Oliver was because of me, right? I was finally able to get that divorce from Oliver after he came back, giving you the chance to be his wife finally. You finally will never have to worry about becoming a single mother because your husband is forced to be with you. I want you to thank me for all that and give me the money I've asked for. Shut up. I'm not thankful for any of this now that it's all going to be the worst marriage in the history of man. I would much rather be a single mother now instead of having to pay you all this money. You would? But you were finally married to Oliver, but you'd rather lose all that so you don't have to pay me? My life with him is horrible and would only be made worse by having to pay you. I was happy at first to have my dad force him to marry me, but this isn't the marriage I thought we'd have. Oliver won't even look at me anymore, and I feel just as alone as I did without him around. What makes all of this worse is that he has to pay a lot of money as well, so his excuse to me for never being around is that he's working all day. And the moment he gets home, he goes right to bed. He doesn't seem to give a crap about me and the baby, and it's making me want to give up on life. Wow. Well, that's not quite a romantic and loving marriage, now is it? And after trying to talk with my dad about it, he just tells me to shut up and be happy for what I have. I thought he was here to support me, and it doesn't feel that way at all. My dad's even told me that he did his part getting Oliver to marry me, and that he doesn't care about what happens after. Nobody in this world is listening to me. I even tried going back to see my mom and dad, but they won't let me into their house unless I bring the baby. Well, I don't blame them. They had to do everything in their power to get your life back on track with Oliver, and after having to wait 10 years to do that, they've had enough. I'm sure they still love you and all that, but deep down they just really want to focus on their own lives and not their petty and annoying daughter. With the way things are going, though, I'm not going to be able to raise my baby. I never knew that Oliver hated kids this much. I thought that after getting married, he'd stop whining about the baby, but he's only gotten worse. If nothing changes with him, then my child is going to grow up with practically no father. Don't worry. I was able to raise my daughter without ever having her father around. If anything, you'll be better off than me because your husband is still in the house with you and making money for your baby. Huh? So please stop whining about how hard your life is and be happy with what you have. I already spoke with Oliver about this, but the environment a baby is raised in is very important. So do your best to raise them in a place where they feel loved and supported. And don't forget, you still owe me money, and I'd like that sent to me soon. After that, I was able to get both settlements sent to my bank account from Oliver and Amber. This was also followed by the remaining child support I required from Oliver and this month's as well. I'm not sure how they were all able to pay me that quickly, but something tells me their parents stepped in to pay me for them. And when it comes to how those two are living together now, they are still not able to converse with one another, and their marriage really is just the most depressing thing. And even with his baby at home and his wife asking him to help out all the time, Oliver goes to work from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day trying to make money in order to pay off all he owes. Amber's pretty much been left on her own with her baby and is trying her best to make things work with what little she has. When it comes to myself, I've finally been given all the money I'd been wanting, and am now able to take my family on a trip to some theme park to treat my daughter to the fun she's been wanting to have. I know that from here, I'm going to have to start saving up for her future choices of going to college or something, so having this money from both Oliver and Amber has made it a lot easier to entertain my girl.
Hey Tina, I heard the big news. Is it true? Are you really going to get married? Oh wow, Jess, it's been so long since I last heard from you. But yes, it's actually true. We're going to try and have the wedding before the end of the year. Wow, really? Oh, that's coming up quickly though. Honestly, I really am surprised though. You used to be so shy and fat and ugly when we were in school together. In fact, I think it's just unforgivable that you think you can even get married before me. Wait, what? I'm sorry, what is all this all of a sudden? I get that you want to try and show that you're better than me by getting married first, but I just think that makes your wedding all the more sad. Honestly, did you really think that this would change the fact that you're still the same shy little downer that you always were? Do you really think that I'm getting married just so that I can brag about it to you? And why do you keep bringing up how I was in high school? And not only that, but who do you think you are to tell me whether I can or can't get married? You don't need to get so mad about it. I'm only being honest with you. After all, you've always been in my shadow ever since we were little kids. It's not just high school. All throughout our childhood, you could never once manage to outshine me. But I guess you think that this is your shot, huh? Jess, I really don't even know what to say to this. You don't actually think that's why I'm getting married, do you? Honestly, part of me can't even blame you for what you're trying to get away with here, but I still think that it's just pathetic.
After all, I am clearly the much prettier, popular, all-around better one out of the two of us. So with that said, why don't you just give up on this silly wedding business? After all, I doubt that whoever you're going to marry can even be all that great since he's marrying you. Okay, Jess, you really are going too far. You don't need to start insulting my fiancé now. He is a really kind, sweet guy who cares a lot about me, and I won't let you badmouth him. So he's kind and sweet and cares a lot. Basically, what you're telling me is that you are going to marry someone ugly then, huh? Because who else would want to marry a woman like you? I doubt that this guy is even all that great. Probably just some loser who only has a part-time job at a grocery store or something. Jess, you literally have no idea what you're talking about, so please stop making so many assumptions about my fiancé. I'm just saying the only man I would ever let marry me would have to be working for a huge company and have a great salary. In fact, if you really want to know, I'm dating someone right now who is quite high up in the management for Orange Industries. Well, I didn't ask, I don't really want to know, and it's clear that you're just trying to gloat. But I'm afraid if that's who you're dating, your attempt to brag failed. What are you talking about? Are you saying that you're with someone even better than that? Well, it's just that my fiancé also works for Orange Industries, and last I heard, you work there as well, don't you? Hold on a second, are you serious about that? Please tell me that's some kind of a joke. Your fiancé really works at Orange? That's right. The guy that you said couldn't have anything but a part-time job is one of your coworkers. And his name is Josh, if you really want to know. You can probably guess who he is now, though. In fact, he's a branch director, so I wouldn't be surprised if you were actually working for him. Hold on a second, you're telling me you're going to marry Josh Beck? As in the Josh Beck? That's who you're going to marry? Don't tell me that you do actually know him. Wow, I was only guessing that you might have, but I guess I was right. No, this can't be right. I don't understand. Josh is all mine. He can't be marrying you. That's impossible. Not only are you going to be getting married before me, but you're going to try and take my man away from me, too? You think you can just have an affair with another woman's man, get hitched, and get away with that? Hold on just a second there. What do you mean that my Josh is also your Josh? You don't actually mean that you two are dating as well, do you? Of course we're dating. Who else did you think I was talking about when I said I was dating a man from Orange? I mean, Josh is the perfect package. He's handsome, smart, so young, and yet so high up in the company. How dare he choose some loser like you over me? Josh, pick up the phone right this instant. I am dead serious. Are you cheating on me? We are this close to narrowing down our wedding day, so please tell me this isn't happening. You're not actually going out with Jess behind my back, are you?
Tina, what in the world are you talking about? Do you really think that I'm cheating on you? Who's this even coming from? Who in the world is Jess?
Jess is a girl that I've known ever since I was little. She reached out to me when we were talking and she told me that she was dating you after I told her that you and I were engaged.
Wait, what? Did this lady really say that about us? Are you serious?
Yes, it's all true. She told me that you both worked at Orange Industries and that you were having a secret office romance.
Well, Tina, you have to believe me when I say that I've never ever cheated on you. I mean, I didn't even know that we had a Jess working in the office. Or at least certainly not in the department that I directly manage.
But she said that she worked at the same company with you and even said that you were the branch director.
Hold on a sec. Are you talking about Jess Jones? Is in the temp that we hired? You two are childhood friends?
Well, I wouldn't say that we're exactly friends, and I also have no idea if she's working as a temp or not.
Okay. Well, the only Jess that I know of working under me is Jess the temp. But I'd never really guessed that she'd pop up in my personal life like this. To think that she was really trying to say that her and I were dating, that's just crazy.
Why do you say it like that? Did something happen between the two of you at work or something?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really want to talk about this, but I guess now I really have no choice. But the thing is that her and I had a little trouble with each other earlier on. She kept telling other people in the office that her and I were going out as well, but it just was not true. You have to know that I'm telling the truth.
You're kidding me. So you mean she's been telling other people this same thing?
Yeah,
But I guess maybe she wanted to try bragging to you since you two go way back. I don't want to sound rude, but she very much struck me as someone who looks down on others just because she's pretty. In fact, all of the temps that we ended up hiring were already married, so I always wondered if that's why she was telling people that we were together and engaged.
I don't even know what to say to that. That's just completely unhinged behavior. What is the matter with Jess?
I mean, I told her to stop spreading those rumours, and I always tried to correct what she told people, but I can't keep an eye on it all the time.
And, she always was such a prideful person, even when we were in school together. I'm not really surprised that she refused to stop even after you asked her to. I remember she used to make up stories about dating popular boys at our school just to make herself look better. But then the truth would always come up, and the guy would always be so clueless when asked if he was really dating Jess.
Wow, it sounds to me like she's probably gotten pretty good at telling this same story.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's something she's had a lot of practice with. And I don't suppose there's any chance that you could transfer her somewhere else, right? I just really don't know how I feel about the two of you working too close together. Who knows what she'll try next?
Well, I don't think that you have anything to worry about. You see, Jess's contract actually runs up this month, so after that she'll have to go and find another job.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a huge relief to hear. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Typically we hire our temps, but HR's report on her is just filled with misconduct, spreading rumours around the office, and her output of work is just so far below the peers she was hired with. And obviously we've tried lots of things to convince her to improve her quality of work, but whatever we say seems to go in one ear and out the other. So for now our strategy has been to be pretty hands-off until the contract runs up.
Oh, I see. Well, it sounds to me like that's the best thing to do to prevent any kind of drama from unfolding. And I just want to say that I am so sorry for accusing you of cheating on me before.
Oh, Tina, I have to say I was really surprised, but I understand now that we've talked out. Anyways, I've got to get back to it. Talk to you soon.
Hey, Tina, what is the matter with you? Why did you stop reading my texts? You know I can see when you've opened them, right? Anyways, I wasn't telling you how you don't deserve to get married before me. You do know that, right? Oh, Jess, I am so sorry to leave you like that. I was just talking to Josh a little about all of this. And he made it clear to me that you two have absolutely nothing going on. In fact, it sounds like he's actually actively trying to avoid you. Wait, what? Did he really say that? But of course he and I are dating. You really just need to give this a rest. I talked to Josh and he cleared up this whole thing for me. He told me all about how you've been spreading rumors all over the office that you two are together. But you really shouldn't be using people like that to try and fluff up your own reputation at work. Okay, well, sure, at first, when I started telling people about us, it was all a lie, but then Josh and I really did start going out and it stopped being a lie. He even proposed to me and we're supposed to be getting married. What in the world are you talking about? I mean, I can still remember the day he did it. I had no idea he could be so angry. He called me into his office and yelled at me about something to do with work or something, and that's when I felt it, the love that we had for each other. Love? What part of that sounds like love to you? Well, I went into his office and he had this really stern look on his face, and he asked me to quit lying to people around the office about us. But that means that he was telling me it wasn't a lie anymore and that we were going out together. Are you kidding me? Is that really what you got out of that statement? Of course it is, and he talked to me about how my contract is going to be coming up soon and how he and I should get married, but he really has such a subtle way with words. Jess, I have no idea what it is that he actually said to you, but I can guarantee that is not what he meant. I don't know what's going on in that head of yours, but it is not living in the same reality as everyone else. I don't know what to tell you. After all, Josh and I are already going to be getting married next month. I've already made my appointments to get my hair done and everything. I mean, the only thing that I can't wrap my head around is why you thought that you ever had a chance with a man like Josh. What are you talking about? You are literally delusional. Why can't you just wake up? Man, you are such a sore loser. Do you know that? You're just jealous because I have Josh and you don't, and you're finally having to come to terms with that. Are you kidding me? You're the one who has no idea at all about what you're talking about. But don't worry, I'll still send you an invitation to our wedding just so that you'll finally see that I'm telling the truth. Hey, when are you finally going to show up here? You really have got some nerve if you think I'll let you miss this. What are you even talking about right now, Jess? In fact, where is everybody? Even Josh's parents aren't here yet. In fact, I'm the only one here at all. Maybe everyone just got lost finding the place and are all going to show up soon? Wait, hold on a second. Show up where? Why are you waiting for Josh's parents? What do you mean, where am I? I'm at the wedding venue that Josh picked out for us to get married in. I'm here in my white dress waiting for the wedding party. But Hawaii isn't all that big, so I don't get how everyone is late like this. Wait a minute, you're in Hawaii right now? Well, duh, I told Josh that's where I wanted to get married, and he told me that he would make it happen. I really am so proud of him for doing this for me while he was so busy with work. It's always been my dream to get married in some kind of beautiful place like this, and now it's finally coming true. I don't even know what to say. I really hope this is some kind of big joke for your sake, though. Did you really fly all the way to Hawaii to get married? Hello? Haven't you been reading any of the texts that I've been sending you just now? So, anyways, are you almost here? The wedding is going to start soon, and I am still waiting for everyone to show up. I don't get how they could all be this late. Well, I don't know what to tell you, but we're all still in the city, and that's where our wedding is happening. So we're all still here back home. Nobody's going to Hawaii to see you get married. Wait, what? What are you talking about? That can't be right. I'm not getting married in the city. But if you're telling me that everyone's got the wrong address and is still in the city, then I'm going to be really mad. Seriously, what are you even talking about? I really just had no idea you would even take things this far. I mean, how did you actually get on a plane to Hawaii without realizing what a huge mistake you were making? Mistake? No, you're misunderstanding. I'm where I'm supposed to be. Everyone else made the mistake because they're still not here yet. I'm still waiting for everyone to show up here for my big Hawaiian wedding.
Jess, this is the last time I'll say this. You and I are not getting married. Nobody is going to Hawaii. Now please, just stop this.
Mr. Beck, is that you?
It is. And honestly, at this point, I have to say that I think I'm scared of you more than anything. I mean, to be so wrapped up in your delusions that you flew all the way to Hawaii. I think you should go and find a therapist or something.
Josh, how could you say that about me? That is so rude. And just why are you texting me from Jess's number? You're supposed to be here for our wedding.
Did you not read my message? I'm not marrying you, and I never, ever was. The only person I'm getting married to today is Tina.
No, you're wrong. You're marrying me, and I'm going to be your housewife and never have to work another day in my life. That's why you said that you weren't going to be hiring me after my contract ran out, right? Because we're getting married.
I seriously don't even know how to answer that. I told you we weren't hiring you because you've been a terrible employee. You've been telling everyone we're together after I asked you not to, and now you're harassing my fiancé. You've ignored everything I've been trying to tell you and insisting that your version of reality is the correct one.
Wait a second, you mean that you've really been mad at me this whole time?
Of course, I've been mad with you. But after a while I just gave up because I realised there's no point in talking to you. But anyways, I've got my own wedding to hurry about here, so I don't have time to deal with your craziness anymore. So good luck getting back home. I hope you brought a return ticket.
Wait, no, this can't be happening to me. We were supposed to be getting married. You're supposed to be all mine. You can't do this to me. You can't just leave me here. You're supposed to be mine, all mine. Apparently, Jess hasn't bought a return ticket because she thought that Josh and her were going to go on their honeymoon right after the wedding. She had also spent all of her money on nice clothes and getting her makeup done for the wedding, also thinking that she's gonna be able to rely on Josh for his money. By the time she finally flew back here, it was clear that she had been through quite a lot. She looked an absolute mess. The last thing that Josh ever did for her was to send a company vehicle to pick her up from the airport and drive her home. On the way there, Jess had it explained to her that her position with the company was terminated as her contract had finished. In the end, Jess ran to her parents to beg them for help. But they were just as aware of her delusions as the rest of us and refused to play along. In fact, they offered to let Jess live with them if she sought out psychiatric help for her issues. Jess insisted nothing was wrong with her, and without a job, money, or anywhere else to go, she had to say yes. I can only hope that with her parents' love and some good therapy, that Jess can realize the mess she made of her own life. As for Josh and I, we got married without any issues and continue to live happily as husband and wife. We blocked Jess and everything, changed our number, and Josh even put in a request to manage a different branch so that we could move. With any luck, that's the last we'll ever hear from Jess. Diana, can I talk with you for a minute? I have some things to ask you about regarding my wedding. What do you want to know? Also, shouldn't you be asking someone like Mom for help with something like the wedding? My husband and I never had a wedding, so we're not going to be that helpful, I feel. Well, actually, this isn't directly about the wedding. This is about the people I'm planning on inviting to the wedding. What? Do you want to just call about this? It might be easier for us to talk about all of it that way. No, I'd much rather talk to you about this through text. I feel like over the phone it'd be a bit hard for me to tell you. What are you trying to get at here? Just tell me what you have to say. I'm all ears here. I've already told you before that I plan on quitting my job since I'm getting married, right? You did say something about that to me before. And you plan to go to your husband's company after the wedding, right? Isn't he the guy running the company that you've always wanted to be a part of? Before you always complained about how you never got hired by that company, so it must be great knowing now you have an easy way of getting hired there. I know that. Well, it's actually his dad that runs the company. He just happens to be next in line when it comes to becoming the CEO. And, that means that this wedding will have a lot of very powerful people coming to see it. Well, I assumed that would be the case. So, well, I don't want to have to say this. It's not something I like to think about. Just get on with it already. Or better yet, just type me a paragraph about what you have to say, all right? I'll take a look at it later. Wait one sec. I'll tell you. What? Well, when it comes to the wedding, I don't want to invite people that don't belong there. That's what his dad is also saying. As you know, that company is very big, right? So he has to maintain a good image of his company even at the wedding. In other words... So he's told me that he doesn't want for you or your husband to come to the wedding. Is that really something that the man that'll become your father-in-law is saying? I understand that you're going to become his son's wife and all, but I am still your older sister and my husband is your brother-in-law. We would both really like to be at your wedding. So I'm a bit suspicious as to why your husband's dad wouldn't want for us to be there. Well, I said there will be a lot of powerful people at this wedding, a lot of elite people, so it's very important. If people who weren't very well off came to this wedding, it would probably spoil the mood for everyone else there. They might all start to think that the wedding is a joke, you know? So this is what your husband's dad told you? I would never say any of this myself. I would really like for you to be at my wedding, all right? What was that about not being well off? My husband and I are both working full-time, and we tend to bring in some decent money. So I don't feel as though either of us aren't well off. But you both never went to college and do your own thing for work, right? You guys aren't a part of any larger company or anything, especially not a massive company like my husband's dad runs. Just because we don't work for large companies doesn't mean we're automatically poor. But of course you guys both appear to be poor based on that. From what I've heard, doing your own work as a job isn't going to really make all that much money. And since neither of you graduated from any university, that's another thing hampering your guys' image. Really, since you both have never gone through the process of job hunting even, you probably don't know much about the working world. And these are all things your husband's father is saying? That's right. Of course, I would never think things like this. I see. Then I would like to go and talk to him about my husband and I. Can you go and tell him that we'd like to meet him in person? What? You want to talk with him? Are you sure? Well, yeah, I am. I want to know why he's so against my husband and I coming to the wedding. You can't do that. If you do that, you'll only be making the situation worse. But you want for us to be there at the wedding, right? I do, but... And that's why I would like to go and see why he won't let the bride's sister and brother-in-law come to her wedding. I'm sure we can help him understand that we aren't some kind of low-life monsters. I don't want to make a huge deal of this, though. After all, this isn't just about the wedding, but my chances of working for that company. I've already left my previous company, and it would be a real shame if I wasn't able to get into the company of my dreams, right? Diana, please understand what I'm saying here. It's really difficult for me to ask this of you, but I can't let my chances of working for that company slip away from me. So you're just going to let him think your older sister and her husband are lowlifes and not fight for your family? I understand that you would still like to celebrate my marriage with me, so after the wedding is over with, we will come and see you guys. By the way, you said you guys moved out of your old place, right? So I have no idea where you're living at now. It might take me a few days after the wedding, but I'll come out to see you guys in your new place, as well as pick up the wedding gifts you have for me, all right? I find it very strange that your own older sister isn't allowed to come and see your wedding. And the reason we're not allowed to be there is because of what your in-laws think of me? And what they think is that because I never went to college and worked for myself, I am poor? I'm not okay with anyone thinking things like that of me, so I need to go have a word with him. How are you even going to talk to him? You don't have his number or email, right? Don't worry, your older sister will figure something out. Wait, Diana, you can't do that! I don't want you to make this situation into a battle for me. I'm asking you to please stop all of that. All right, Morgan. I'll do my best not to make any problems out of this. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Harrison. Do you have a little bit of time to spare?
Yeah, of course I do. I'm assuming this is about business. I would just like to say that myself and my company are very thankful for the deal we've struck up with you, so thank you.
And I am very pleased myself that we were able to work out such a deal with you. My husband is very happy as well, and we think the contracts we've made will do everyone well going ahead.
I love hearing that from you and your husband. I'll make sure to let my heads in the HR department know of this so they can spread the good news.
Now that we've gotten that out of the way.
Is there something else you'd like to talk about? If this is about some concerns you might have still, I can get someone to talk with you about that right away.
No worries, this has nothing to do with work. I just wanted to ask you why you might think that because my husband and I both never went to college and run our own business, you think of us as lowlifes? If that seems to be how you really feel about the two of us, then I'll have no other choice but to cancel those contracts we plan on having. However, I really don't want to have to do that, hence why I wanted to confirm with you yourself about how you truly feel about my husband and I. That's why I've contacted you today, Mr. Harrison.
Excuse me? But what are you talking about?
Your son and my little sister Morgan are going to have a wedding soon, right? I'm aware they aren't even married yet, but my sister seems to think things are so well between your son and her that she calls him her husband already.
I'm aware of the upcoming wedding. I was so happy to use the chance for our families meeting one another as a way of starting business with you a while back, especially now that we have plans to sign an official contract and everything. Both my son and I are very thankful for the relationship he has with your sister. The wedding is being planned to be the largest and most decadent ever thrown at the location, so I hope you're looking forward to it.
And you happened to tell my sister not to invite us as you're afraid that by having two so-called lowlifes at the wedding, it would ruin the atmosphere.
She told you that I said that about you both?
Did you not make those claims?
Of course I didn't. I know that this wedding is a major event for everyone that's involved, and I'm even one of the proud sponsors of it. But I would never ask that you and your husband stay away from it.
Is that so?
I'm not at all sure why Morgan would say that I feel that way about you two, but both myself and my family are looking forward to having you there. I'm sure your sister and your family must feel the same way, right? I don't think there should be anyone asking for you and your husband to stay away.
Hearing that from you has really relieved some of my stress. And that's what I was expecting to hear from you as well, but I just had to be sure.
That's what you were expecting to hear as well.
Well, I just never expected you, of all people, to say things like that about myself and my husband. Now, is there one more thing I can ask you before we stop talking?
What's that?
Well, if I were to not show up on the day of your son's wedding to Morgan, would you be able to take it upon yourself to rethink letting your son marry her?
Why would you ask me something like that? I'm not really sure what that all means exactly.
Well, if I'm not at that wedding and you still allow those two to get married, then I will have to rethink that contract we want so badly.
Wait a second, please. What is going on here?
Well, when the time comes, I can explain what I mean. If I told you what I meant now, then you'd try to do everything in your power to stop what might happen. I would just like for us all to wait for the truth to be revealed, and from there we can all make the correct decisions.
I'm not really sure what all of this means. But if you don't show up to that wedding, then guess I'll have no choice but to cancel and take my son away from Morgan for you. After all, that would be in the best of both of our interests, right?
Correct. Now, for the time being, let's just all continue looking forward to that wedding, and wish for both your son and my sister to become happily married. Diana, why didn't you listen to what I told you before? I talked to you before about how my father-in-law didn't want you to come to this wedding, right? You have to understand that I came here regardless of what he said, because I'm your sister. Well, so far not everyone has come here yet besides some of the family, but as time goes on, more and more of the guests will be coming. A lot of my father-in-law's shareholders and those that he considers respectable will all be coming here. Even some of his most important customers will be coming. So please, do not stick around for the rest of this wedding once it starts. Just take your husband and go. I have one thing to ask you first. You're telling me that the groom's father doesn't want either myself nor my husband here, right? I really don't want to have to tell you things like this. But he happens to see a lot of potential in this wedding as well. So, yes, it is terrible for him to ask that you and your husband both stay away, but it's for the best when it comes to his company. I myself don't like the idea of having you both go because it might ruin things between our families. I really, really don't want you both leaving. I love you so much and want to make sure that we stay close to one another forever. But this is what my father-in-law wants. So you seem to love me very much. Of course I do. Are you sure? What are you trying to say? I love you, and that's why I don't want to hurt you. This wedding is going to have a lot of elite people here, as well as a lot of very rich people. There's no telling what you might say to them, especially during the time after the ceremony. You might say things to people that my father-in-law doesn't want you talking to, and that's no good for him. So please, Diana, when people really start to pour in, would you please take your husband and leave? Morgan, tell me the truth. If you tell me the truth right now, you'll be saving yourself a lot of time. Actually, let me go ahead and tell you what I think you want to say. You really want to say to me that you don't want my husband and I here. Am I correct? This isn't what your father-in-law is saying, but what you're wanting to say, right? No, this is really what he's saying about you both right now. I see. Well, then I'm going to complain to him about this right now. He's standing right in front of my eyes right now, so I can make this quick. What? Right now, he's talking with the rest of the family in the changing room as everyone gets ready for your wedding. Wait a second. If you do that to me, it'll be no good for anyone. So then what you're really trying to tell me is that it's you that doesn't want my husband and I here and not him? Hence the reason you don't want me going up to him and complaining? You're afraid that if I do, I'll learn who really doesn't want me here right now. Look, Morgan, now is your only chance to quit it with all this crap and tell me the truth. This isn't about what one person is saying about us. What are you saying? Are you seriously going to keep trying that with me? Well, I guess this is always how you've been. You've always told me what you've been wanting to say to me, but while saying it came from someone else's mouth. Also that you wouldn't look like the jerk, right? That's not true at all. What about the times you'd tell Mom I didn't want chicken for dinner when it was really you who hated chicken? Or what about those times you told me my friends didn't want to play with me anymore when it was really you that didn't want me going out and having fun with them? You would always try making yourself look like the victim, or would always try to make it seem like you were everyone's friend. I felt this kind of emotion from you for a very long time as well, Morgan. That emotion, of course, being hate. I told you, you have it all wrong. You really think I haven't noticed what's going on here? I know about how you've been the one talking crap about me behind my back to everyone. And how you'd sit behind bushes throwing rocks at me, and then later say you saw some of my friends doing it to me. That's why once I graduated from high school, I immediately left the house and your bullcrap. So tell me what you really think. I never wanted for some moneyless lowlifes to come to my frickin' wedding. There we go. I knew that was how you felt all this time, yet you proceeded to beat around the bush for way too long. You and your husband both never went to college and have to rely on yourselves for income now. So I don't want either of your moneyless bodies coming in and sitting with the rest of my family today. Do you not see that the rest of the people here are on completely different levels from you both? I am finally getting married into a family who is known for their massive company. In other words, I've finally struck gold and will never have to worry about money again. Yet I'm struck with embarrassment by the thought of two poor losers coming in and sitting with my family. So let me tell you right now that I don't want either you or that idiot husband of yours here any longer. So what you're saying is that I'm an embarrassment to you and to the family? That's 100% right. Has there ever been a family not embarrassed by their uneducated and poor family member before? Of course there hasn't been one. So with that, you two uneducated and moneyless freaks leave my wedding right now. Well then, that's it for the contract. What? Contract? What are you going on about? What I'm talking about right now is the contract your husband's father's company made with my husband and I. Huh? I have no idea what contract you're going on about. What's the company that your soon-to-be father-in-law runs? He runs a company dealing in food. The company happens to run a bunch of restaurants as well and supplies a bunch of other restaurants and stores with food. The company's also manufactured and still manufactures all kinds of frozen foods as well as freeze-dried foods. It's the company whose food probably goes into everyone's mouth. And I've been wanting to join the new department that was created to develop new kitchen appliances. All right then. And did you know that the company was planning on putting all their products into supermarkets all over the country, as well as into all sorts of gas stations and convenience stores? It's expected for that company to roll out a new way of keeping food good for longer outside of being frozen. Did you know that that's the reason why they want to start supplying supermarkets and gas stations and convenience stores? They'll have some of the best foods ready to eat on the shelf. I know about all of that. Well, the people behind the development of that new preservation technique is none other than my husband and I. What do you mean? I never explained this to you, did I? My husband and I run a restaurant. A restaurant? And while we run this restaurant, we are also doing research on ways to preserve foods in a more healthy way. We also work in making really good dishes for dieting and such, which we serve both in our restaurant and online via recipes. We even have videos on YouTube showcasing our newest ideas in the culinary world. We don't show our faces or anything online, but many people know that our business is one of the best in the dieting world. You guys run a restaurant, do research, and run a YouTube channel? Wait, is this possibly what my husband was talking about? He was going on about this huge deal he'd be making for the company with some really popular researchers. He's even been watching their YouTube videos and recreating some of the dishes they've showcased. And for this wedding, I've been on a diet using meals from that YouTube channel. Are you both the ones behind all of that? I believe that would be us he's talking about. He knew about how we have a really successful restaurant and about how we made some new advancements in food preservation, and asked if we could work together to spread that new advancement around across the U.S. We agreed to the deal being made at the time, but I'm afraid now that I'm going to have to cancel all that. This is all a lie, right? I never knew a thing about the work you did. And you never asked me about any of it either. Instead, just making fun of me for never going to college and saying that that makes me poor automatically. Well, look, no single person that never goes to college should end up with a good job, right? I just assumed you worked as a part-timer and never made the kind of money a salaried worker makes. And when it comes to you and your husband, you guys never had a wedding and neither of you wear any branded clothing. It's totally normal for me to think of you both as moneyless lowlives. Neither of us care for brand clothing, and we just chose not to have a wedding where we invited anyone. To tell you the truth, we had a private wedding with just the two of us, and it took place in the Maldives. The Maldives? And for our honeymoon, we traveled the world going to all sorts of places. We got to see so many cool things in Europe and Asia, as well as experience all the amazing food. You guys traveled the world together? You're making it sound like it was nothing to you both. It wasn't nothing to us, but when you do things like that so often, it doesn't seem all that special anymore. I mean, we have to travel for our work as well, so it's become sort of this work-related thing rather than a luxury to us. Are you kidding me? You both travel that much? That must mean you both are loaded if you're able to do and say all of that. So does this mean you understand what all you misunderstood about us? Well, even if you are able to understand the people my husband and I are, we are still heading home like you asked. And I have no clue what's in store for you once your husband's dad finds out about this. What? Hold on a second. You can stay here all you want now. It was just a simple mistake on my part. And if you're saying you've made a deal with his company, that makes you a customer to him, right? If you don't stick around for the wedding today, I'll be screwed. What will everyone say if they find out I kicked you out of here? Hey, Diana. I'm so sorry, Diana. I was totally in the wrong for all of that, so please forgive me. You shouldn't be seeking my forgiveness. All I did was what you asked for, right? But after you left, things got really bad for me. My husband's father went and canceled the wedding on us and was furious at me. And even my husband says he's going to rethink our marriage. I warned him about this. Also, would you stop calling him your husband? You warned him? I said that if I don't end up showing up for the whole wedding, to rethink that marriage between his son and you. Why would you do that to me? I felt bad that he never knew a thing about the real you, but I was never going to say anything that would ruin your wedding, right? I just told him that if I'm not there, then he should rethink things is all. And, well, you told me not to be there, so... Would you stop blaming me for something I didn't do? Well, you should have just kept your mouth shut about you not being there as well. That was the plan. And you never went and kicked me out of your wedding, right? What? This is what you get for being a turd. Why did you do this to me? Right after you guys left the wedding, I had to go out to the lobby and talk to both my fiancé and his father. They both started to tear into me about how that once-in-a-lifetime deal would be ruined because of me. You did say you planned on working for that company, right? Well, you should be more aware that this company is family-based and they all rely on telling the truth to one another about everything. If someone like you, who ended up lying about what the CEO said about one of his customers being at the wedding, were to join their company, it would spell trouble for the future. So I'm sure that none of them would like you in their company anymore, would they? Well, because of all that, everybody else in the lobby, all those elites and those rich people, all heard what they had to say to me. And now I'm no longer going to be hired by them. I've already left my previous company, so now there's nowhere for me to go. Well, that's a shame for you. Why the hell did you do all of this to me? Telling him to rethink the marriage? They're now asking that I pay for the wedding's cancellation fees. This was going to be a very expensive wedding for us to show off to everyone, and now I'm going to have to pay every penny of it. And since the wedding was canceled, all the gifts to me are gone now. Like I said, it sucks to be you. They've told me they don't want a lying employee like me to be a part of their company at all. And that's the truth. What the hell is wrong with you? It's not my fault that all the crap you've dished out is coming back at you now. So please give it up with all the complaining and leave me alone. This is your problem, is it not? You're my freaking sister! Do something to save me! Do something to make things better between my father-in-law and I! Help me get everything I lost back! I don't have time for that. I have YouTube videos to make. And I have a restaurant to manage. I will apologize for everything, so please, at the very least, make that deal with their company, please! If you do that, then I'm sure they'll rethink things regarding the marriage. I'm really sorry, but I have better things to do than care about you. I mean, you're a real dick to me, so why should I bother with you at all? Please, just handle things yourself for once. No way. You paid all that money to go to such a distinguished university, but didn't seem to learn a thing about acting like an adult. Please, Diana, I promise I'll make all of this up to you. I was relying on this wedding for everything. I had to borrow loads of money for this dress and my parts of the payments. Diana? Please, just come and help me, Diana. Please. It turns out that Morgan and her fiancé were going to hand in their marriage documents right after the wedding, so that ended up falling through. And Morgan was made responsible for paying for the whole wedding. Of course, all of this meant that she would not be getting hired by her fiancé's dad's company, and when she tried to go home to our mom and dad, they turned her away. This wasn't all for Morgan, though, as everyone that was in the lobby at the time of her getting chewed out learned the truth about what kind of person she is. And this led to a lot of people completely avoiding her. As of right now, I'm aware that Morgan had to leave town and moved someplace far away from here. As for my husband and I, we decided to go through with the deal, and starting next month, our preservation technology will be used to put food into all sorts of stores and gas stations all over the U.S. I'm sure some of those stores are even located in whatever town my sister moved to, so she'll be able to see everything went fine on our end. Man, I can't believe it's been all this time since we've seen each other and you're still just as ugly as ever. Your makeup looked terrible and your clothes were some of the ugliest things I'd ever seen. But then again, I don't even know what would look good on someone like you. And if you were trying to start a trend with your look, well, let's just say that I wouldn't hold my breath.
Excuse me, but who is this and how did you get this number?
You mean that in addition to being so ugly, you also have a barely functioning memory as well? I can't believe that you could ever forget a showstopper like me. You really don't remember who I am? I'll give you a hint. I was the popular and prettiest girl at high school.
Wait a second. This wouldn't happen to be Carla, would it? Wow, I haven't thought of you in ages.
Well, it has been a whole 10 years since you and I graduated high school. But even so, I knew exactly who you were when I saw you walking in the street. You really are still the same ugly, drab person you've been since we were classmates. You were wearing that dress and walking around downtown with some big dumb smile on your face.
And that's a bad thing? Also, I'll let you know that that dress I was wearing was a gift from my boyfriend, and I really like it.
Wait a second. Did you just say boyfriend? That can't be right.
No, it is right. In fact, we're actually engaged to be married. Our wedding is actually going to be next month, if you must know.
Wait, you're serious? You're really going to get married?
That's right. We've been dating since college, and he proposed to me a couple of months ago.
You have got to be kidding me. There's no way that a girl like you is really going to get married. And before me, that's just, it's unacceptable.
You mean that you still aren't married either? Huh. That's funny. I would have guessed that someone would have snatched you up right away. In fact, I remember you having an older boyfriend when we were in school, right?
Yeah, but him and I didn't last long after graduation. Apparently, he was just a creep, only interested in high school girls.
You're kidding me. Who would have guessed that from an adult dating high schoolers?
I know, right? But anyways, I've forgotten all about him, and now I'm looking for my Mr. Right. But now you're telling me that you're going to be married before I am? Isn't that ridiculous? Why can't I find someone who wants to marry me? You need to break up with your boyfriend right now.
Carla, please don't be ridiculous. I mean, what does it matter what order people you haven't seen since high school get married? Besides, you really think I would break up with him when I just said we were engaged?
I don't want to hear it. You're nothing but an ugly nobody. There is no way that some loser like you is seriously going to get married before I do. That's just unacceptable.
Well, I really don't know what to tell you, Carla.
Well, let me tell you that this really pisses me off. You've always gotten under my skin ever since high school, you know that? You always just make me feel gross, and you're a creep, and ugh!
Yeah, well, imagine how I feel. I mean, you show up in my life after 10 years and you bully me just like you did in high school. Not only that, but you really thought you could just ask me to break up with my fiancé.
Well, that's because I can't let you get married before me. I'm supposed to be the star of the show, not you. You can't beat me in this. Hey, Diane, are you there? I was just curious if something happened between you and Carla recently. She keeps talking about how upset she is that you're getting married to everyone she knows.
You have got to be kidding me. What is her deal?
Yeah, she actually just reached out to talk to me even though we haven't talked since high school. She demanded that I tell her everything about your boyfriend to her since she knows that you and I are still friends.
She does? But how does she know that when we haven't talked in so long?
Yeah, I don't know, but I got kind of a bad feeling just from talking to her, so I thought I should warn you to be careful. Because apparently she's been reaching out to everyone from high school trying to gather what intel she can on Liam. I guess she really is upset about you and him being so close to getting married or something.
Well, I figured that much, but what I want to know is why. Of course I have some idea. I think she is letting herself get way hung up on the fact that I'm getting married before she is. Or maybe she's just looking for ways to put me down for being with Liam.
But I don't get it. Why would she want to do that? How does she even know about Liam?
Well, actually, the other day she must have seen me in town and started messaging me. I didn't even see her at all, but I guess she must have recognized me. She started saying rude things about what I was wearing and how I looked. The usual Carla play, you know.
You're kidding me. That's crazy that she recognized you.
Yeah, but then I happened to mention that I was getting married, and then she totally went off about how she's the main character of whatever delusion she lives in her head. And she kept getting angrier and angrier at me. She even demanded that I break up with Liam.
Are you serious? Man, she sounds like a real nut. But then again, I think she's always been kind of this way. Even in high school, she was always calling herself the star of the show or whatever. But it's been a whole decade since we've graduated.
I know, but I guess she still just hasn't grown up and is more than happy to look down on people from back then. So I guess that's one reason why she was upset about me getting married. Anyways, she's got to be looking for a way to put me down, and that's probably why she's digging into Liam. She just wants to know the best ways to get under my skin and bully me more.
Well, then I think you should probably tell Liam to keep a low profile for the time being, no? I mean, if Carla found out that you were engaged to a CEO, I think she would flip her lid.
Yeah, I really don't think that would go well for anyone if that happened. But what do you think I should do?
Okay, I have an idea. You should send me a photo of Liam.
Wait, what? Why would I do that?
Send us a photo of the night the three of us went out drinking. You know, when we ended up staying out all night. Liam looks like a complete mess, so if I use that photo, I might throw Carla off his trail a bit.
That's a great idea. She'll get the entire wrong idea about him that way. Plus, there's no way she would guess that he's a CEO by looking at a photo like that.
I don't think anyone would ever think that of him in that photo. But anyways, she'll probably just make fun of you dating someone like that, and then she'll probably leave you alone after she feels better about herself.
Zara, you are seriously a genius. This is a great idea.
Well, I just think that if you tried to hide Liam somehow, that it would just drive someone like Carla to search even harder for him. So I'll just tell her that I found this photo of us and explain that he's your fiancé. I'm sorry that I have to show Liam in that state to someone outside of our group, but...
Yeah, it's no problem. Whatever gets Carla to leave me alone and stay out of my life.
Tisk, 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 Diane. I really hoped that you might be able to impress me. But I doubt there's going to be a single person wanting to show up to your sad excuse of a wedding. I saw a photo of you and your fiancé, and let's just say that you really know how to pick 'em.
Sorry, what do you mean no one is going to come to my wedding?
Well, I know that you're getting married today. You even sent invitations out to all the girls from high school, didn't you? But that's why I made my wedding day today as well. And obviously, they're going to want to come to mine instead of yours. So you're not going to have a single old classmate at your wedding.
Wait, what? You mean that you're going to be getting married today too? But I thought you said that you were single just a couple of months ago?
I was, but then I found a boyfriend who said he wanted to marry me. It was the best way to not lose to you.
So you mean you've already found someone that you want to marry so quickly?
What can I say? When I really put my mind to it, I can make the men flock to me like nothing. And that's what makes me a cut above all the boring girls like you. I just give off an aura of superiority that all the best men recognize. All I had to do was download one of those apps, and I had men lined up asking me on dates.
I see. So you really don't want me to get married before you that badly, huh?
Well, of course. I told you that I'm the star of the show, didn't I? And that means that I would never let myself be beaten by a loser like you. But there are so many weddings happening around now that today was the only day that I could get. I wanted to try and do it yesterday to really beat you, but oh well.
Why do you keep saying that you're the main character? What are you the main character of? I don't understand that at all. Besides, it's been 10 years since we last even talked to each other. Why are you still acting like you're in high school?
Sounds like exactly the kind of sore loser talk that I expected to come out of you when you found out I was going to beat you. But you'll have plenty of time to think about your sad life when no one shows up to your wedding.
Excuse me? Why are you being so rude?
Let me tell you a little something. My fiancé is a lawyer. He's handsome and rich, and he's nothing like your slob of a fiancé. But of course, I'm not surprised that you're marrying a guy like that. At least you know not to date men out of your league. With a guy like that, I bet he has a really lame job too. He probably is flipping burgers while my fiancé is out making millions every year. Your fiancé wouldn't even be good enough to polish my fiancé's shoes.
Are you sure about that? I really don't know.
You have to be kidding me. You really think that your man measures up to mine? Well, we'll just see about that when everyone from school shows up to my wedding and not yours. Then you'll eat your words, you fat, ugly cow.
Carla, I just want you to know that everyone is laughing at you right now.
What's that supposed to mean? Who is laughing at me, huh?
I mean, I can't believe that you went and got engaged just to get married before I do. Not only that, but that you really tried to plan your wedding for the same day as mine to snipe the people from our school away from my wedding? And in the end, you even reached out to me just to try and brag about this all. Everyone at my wedding is just cracking up at how completely unhinged you are.
Tell me who you're talking about. Who is laughing at me? I want to know right now.
Who do you think I'm talking about? I mean, all the girls from high school, of course. They all came to my wedding, not yours.
No, that can't be right. You're lying.
I'm not. And I'm afraid the only one who's going to have a very lonely wedding is you, Carla. Meanwhile, I'll be here surrounded by friends and family having a great time. But honestly, that just makes me pity you even more.
Now, you hold on there just 1 second. You're telling me that everyone from high school is at your wedding right now? But that can't be right. Don't they know that I'm the star, the main character? This can't be happening. They should all be here with me, not you.
Well, I did send my invitations out first and they already RSVP'd to mine. So I don't really know what you expected to happen by putting your last-minute wedding the same day as mine. Everyone had already chosen to go to mine before you were even engaged.
But that still doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, don't they know that I'm the main character? They should all be here cheering me on and helping me celebrate. Just like in high school when I suggested that we do a bake sale and sell stuff at a booth to raise money for our team. I was the star then. Everyone loved my idea.
Yeah, well, it helps when you were already trying to make yourself the center of attention in class anyways. But just because you were popular then doesn't mean that people are going to do what you say now. Besides, if anything, people probably just thought that you were being bossy back then.
What is that supposed to mean?
I mean that you were always calling yourself the main character or something. You do realize how that is basically hurtful to everyone that isn't you, right?
But I still don't understand. Was I wrong to say that or something?
We all went to a private school that was very strict about us keeping our grades up. Everyone at the school worked very hard in class and in their clubs. I'm not even sure if I can say that you were good at planning events since everyone was much more focused on their schoolwork and didn't really care.
That's right. Everyone at school were a bunch of nerds, and so it's no wonder I was so popular with all the boys there. I was the only girl who put any care into her appearance, and that's why everyone loved being around me.
You really have a selective memory if you think you were the only pretty girl at school. As for your fundraising ideas, I think everyone was just grateful that you were taking it upon yourself to handle all of it.
What is that supposed to mean?
I already told you that nobody cared for the events much, and so you basically just did the work that we would have otherwise begrudgingly have had to do. But being grateful that someone does your work for you doesn't mean that everyone was looking up to you.
I don't get it. That can't be right. Everyone thought that I was the star, right?
For the last time! Nobody even knew what you meant when you said that! But anyways, like I said, everyone in school was focused on their studies and nobody really cared about being popular, except you. Literally everyone in school just thought you were so annoying, really.
Wait, what? They thought I was annoying, but that can't be right at all.
Well, it is. And to be honest, I kind of figured that no one would be going to your wedding even then.
This can't be happening. I thought that everyone loved me. I was certain that people would choose me over you. I was the most popular girl in the whole school. I was the star, the main character, the prima ballerina, the head honcho, the top girl, the boss hog, the big kahuna, the alpha and omega.
Wow. You seriously have some issues, Carla. I mean, if you really think that, then wow. That's all I can say. But I do remember even when we were seniors, you would always go on and on about how you were going to get married as soon as you graduated.
Shut up, you don't know what you're talking about at all. I was pretty and I was popular and people are at your wedding now? But I know that as soon as it's over, they are all going to come flocking to my wedding.
Carla, you have to stop this. You are being ridiculous.
Shut up, you don't get to tell me how to act. My wedding is going to be 1,000 times better than your wedding. My lawyer fiance is funding it all, and he spent a ton of money on this.
But why would they go to your fancy wedding when they're already at my wedding?
What are you talking about? You don't have a fancy wedding. Your husband is a slob.
On the contrary, he is actually the CEO of his own business, and while I don't like to brag about money, he does make quite a bit.
But that can't be. Zara showed me the picture of him, and he looked like a total slob.
Well, I think anyone would when they've spent all night drinking like we had that night. But I take it that you've heard of Liam Patel, right?
Liam Patel? As in that big tech guy that's on all the magazine covers and stuff?
The one and the same, and as of today, I am officially Mrs. Patel.
But that can't be right. Hold on, let me search him real quick. No way. It really is him. How did this happen? How did he end up with a total basket case like you?
I already told you we met in college and have been dating ever since.
But that can't be right. He should be with a girl like me, not you.
Well, I don't really know what to tell you. But I hope that this serves as a wake-up call. Get some therapy and leave me alone already.
Hey, you can't talk to me like that. I'm the main character. I say when we stop talking. Diane, you get back here right now and talk to me. Diane!
The next day, I got messages from Carla begging me for help. It turns out that her so-called lawyer fiancé was actually a faker. He had failed the bar exam and was nothing but your run-of-the-mill office worker. Apparently, he was hoping to trick Carla into marrying him since he also thought that she was wealthy because she was always wearing designer clothes. The truth is that he barely had a cent to his name and certainly couldn't afford the wedding. I heard that she ended up suing him for marriage fraud, but that it didn't really end up going anywhere on some legal technicality. I haven't heard from Carla since then. But, according to some old friends, she ended up moving to a different state to start a new life after being humiliated on her wedding day. I can't really say that I pity her after the way she treated me and those around her. But by the time everything wrapped up, I was happily married to Liam and got through the whole affair unscathed. So I guess all I can say is really, all's well that ends well.
Mom, I just wanted to ask if for tomorrow's wedding, you'd go ahead and not show up for me. I've already had your seat taken away and everything, so...
Excuse me?
So, since you have no seat now, please don't come. I'll make sure to send you pictures of the wedding and everything later, all right?
Hold your horses, Summer. Why would you ask me to stay away from your wedding day out of nowhere like that? You know I can't do that on my daughter's most important day.
Huh? Why not? The bride is asking you not to come to her wedding, so you can shut up and do as the bride is telling you, all right?
Why are you saying things like that to me now? Why don't you want me coming to my own daughter's wedding?
Well, Mom, I'd really like to cut ties to you after this. So I can't just have you coming to my wedding if I don't even want you around me anymore, right? That would make no sense.
You want to cut ties to me? Hold on, Summer. Tell me what's gotten into you all of a sudden. Telling me not to come to your wedding and saying that you want to push me away by cutting ties? Did I do something wrong to you?
Look, Mom, do you have any idea who the man is I'll be marrying tomorrow? I'm going to be getting married to the son of a very distinguished family who runs a large company. So in other words, starting tomorrow, I'm going to become a part of some very famous people. And when that happens, I'm no longer going to need some moneyless woman like you as my mom.
Moneyless woman?
Why are you so surprised by all of this? You've always been living your life with a very little income, right? Once Dad had divorced you, our home became one of very little money and a whole lot of sadness. When was the last time you bought yourself some new clothing, Mom? Like 10 years ago?
I guess we have been a smaller family now ever since your father left us and luck has not been on our side, but I have put all my energy and money into raising you to make sure you were always happy. I wanted you to never have to feel the pain of being raised by only a mother and on the income of only myself. So I would spoil you with a lot of what I earned in the hopes that you'd never notice the void he left behind. But to see you forgetting my sacrifice now and calling me a moneyless woman, it hurts!
Huh? You think I'm forgetting anything about that? I never cared enough to memorize what you did for me, so how could I be forgetting it now? If anything, the only thing I've held on to is the hate I have for you.
Huh?
Because you had to go and get that divorce with Dad, you left my life in tatters. I had to start living the life of a poor little girl in a single-parent household. Do you have any idea how many horrible memories I have from being around you?
You know the reason why your father and I had to get a divorce, right? Your father was addicted to slot machines and would never stop gambling no matter how much I told him to stop and step away. So I started to think only about you. And that led me to getting that divorce from him. It's not good to have someone addicted to gambling raising a child as well.
If you really wanted to care about me and my well-being, then where's the money I need? I had to live for years under you with no money and with very little to entertain myself. Had you just stuck with Dad, at least then I would have had the money he won from playing slots all the time. I think being raised in a moneyless household is way worse for me than living with a gambling addict.
That's why in order to have money for you, I've put in a lot of work over the years. And it's been 15 years now since the divorce, so that's 15 years of me working for your sake. And not just working a job, but working as two parents to make sure you were raised into the person you are now. I made sure to never focus on myself, only looking at you and working towards the great future I wanted you to have. That allowed you to go and study what you wanted at the school you wanted to attend. I'm sure I never made you feel as though you were living in poverty, right?
Huh? That's strange, considering that every day I was in the same house as you, I felt like I was living in a poor man's home. I wish I had the lives all my friends had, going overseas every year for vacation with their family. I wanted to be like them, going to Disney Park every year for a week.
Well, all of those friends happen to have parents working high up in large companies, right? Especially that one girl, whose dad is the CEO. While comparing the money I was bringing in to their parents. I had worked so hard for you, Summer, and I really made sure there was enough money for you, even without your father ever paying child support.
It's your job as my parent to work hard for me, so stop acting like you're someone special for something like that. Let's be real here, you should have never married someone like Dad and had a kid with him in the first place if you knew things would never turn out well for me. Being born into a moneyless family has really caused me so much trouble. I'm a victim of someone who never cared enough about her money or her situation, and I've had to pay for your flaws for the past 15 years.
What did you say?
Someone who's done all of that to me is not going to be coming to my wedding to celebrate my happiness. That's why you're not coming to my wedding anymore. I'm going to become a somebody for once, and I don't need some moneyless woman there celebrating that. A poor woman like you, with nothing to show for, shall never come around me ever again.
Are you sure about this?
Shut the hell up, you old hag. I think I'm very sure about all of this, considering I've told you to stay away so many times now.
Then I guess I have no other option. I gave it my all raising you, but I can't just force you to let me be a part of your future anymore. Please have a wonderful life with that Alex of yours.
Of course Alex and I are going to become happily married. I don't need to hear that from you, you idiot. Hey, Jody, what do you think you're doing as the mother of the bride? Hurry up and come to the wedding right now, please.
Huh? Renee?
I heard from your daughter that you're not coming today because you don't feel well enough. But there is just no way that someone like you would be feeling so bad that you can't make it to one of the most important days in your daughter's life. Even if you have a small fever, you can manage coming here still, right? You are her mother, so please be here to see her go from your little girl into Alex's wife. Both the bride's and groom's parents have put a lot of effort into this event, so you shouldn't miss it.
Could you hold on for one moment, please, Renee? What do you mean my daughter told you I wasn't feeling well enough today?
What do I mean? She said that you're feeling sick today. She said you became so anxious about her wedding that it ended up getting you sick. That's why Summer had to tell the wedding planner you wouldn't be coming today.
I'm not feeling sick or anything, though, today. The reason I'm not there right now is because Summer told me to stay away.
What?
For some reason or another, she seems to really hate me now. Apparently, she has no use for a single-parent mother anymore. She told me that she's going to be part of a more higher-class people now, so she has to cut ties to me. And that means I can't come to her wedding anymore.
You're lying, right? Summer said all of that to you?
I do have a lot to say about it, but since this is her wedding, I can't go against what she said. If the bride is telling me to stay away, then I'm going to stay away. So, with that, I'd like for you and your husband to please celebrate a little extra in my absence. And please take good care of my daughter for me.
Why are you so calm when saying all of that to me? You're just going to let Summer get away with saying all those terrible things to you? If my son had ever said something like that to me, I would have been spanking his butt for 5 days straight.
You really are such a powerful mother, aren't you, Renee? Which is amazing considering when you and I first met, you were so calm and kind.
And I've been the one watching you raise Summer all by yourself for the past 15 years. Hearing from you what she said, it really breaks my heart.
I'm sorry, Jody, but I cannot let her say things like that to someone who has sacrificed so much.
I see. I totally forgot you've been by my side ever since that divorce from my ex-husband. Time has really gone by fast, hasn't it?
That's how it feels to all of us. But listen to me, Jody. I am so upset with what I've heard. You are one of my most dear friends, and you're telling me the daughter you raised with so much love is now stabbing you in the back? I want you to hang tight for me, okay? I'm going to do something about this right now.
You don't have to do anything, Renee. I'm totally fine right now, so there's no need to worry.
But I'm not fine at all, Jody. I thought that because she's your daughter, she'd be just perfect for my son. But now I'm being told that she's the exact opposite of her mother. I have to go and do something about this. Mom, you can come to my wedding right now. I am finally all right with you being here now, so you'd better hurry up so we can get on with things.
What? Why are you talking to me again now? I thought you told me yesterday that you were cutting ties to me.
Well, there was some trouble with that, so I have to ask you to come out here now. Right now, Alex's mom is getting all up in my face complaining about things, so having you here will be the only way that'll shut her up. She keeps going on and on about how my mom isn't here and how that's really messed up of me.
I see.
I tried to tell everyone that you're not here because you're feeling sick, but she's not buying it any. So it really does hurt me to say this, but you're allowed to come now. But I'm only doing this so that my wedding isn't canceled and I can have a happy marriage with Alex, so hurry up and get over here.
I understand the situation you're in now, but I'm a bit unsettled.
Huh? Why are you unsettled? You should be over the moon with happiness now that your daughter is letting you come to her wedding. So stop what you're doing and get over here.
I'm sorry, but I can't do that now. Right now I'm out having something to eat. I have this really delicious parfait coming to my table right now, so I'm going to have to stay and eat it.
Huh? Who cares about a stupid parfait? You should be far more interested in your daughter's wedding. If you do come over here right now, I'll even play nice and forget about ever wanting to cut ties to you. So you should really want to come now, right?
Huh? You want to stop this whole cutting ties to me thing?
If having you around me is the only way to ensure I have a great wedding with the son of a very wealthy family, then I have no other choice.
What should I do here? If I had the time, I'd really like to be there to see your wedding, but this parfait looks so good.
Why are you getting stuck between a stinking parfait and your daughter's wedding? You should only be worried about your daughter's wedding, right? I'm telling you that even without any money, I'll let you come and celebrate my wedding with everyone else.
What was that?
This should be one of the biggest surprises of your life, hearing that you will finally be allowed to come to my wedding. So hurry up and get over to my wedding before I start to have a change of heart again. Does she look like some kind of toy to you? She is your mother of all people, and you're going to act and play with her like that? I have had enough of you, Summer. I'm not going to ever think of you as my daughter ever again. What? And I'm sure Jody is feeling the same way about you right now. So don't you even bother with either one of us now, because you will never be either one of our children. I'm asking you to please leave us alone, especially your mother. Wait a second. What? This isn't you, Mom? Who even is it that I'm talking with right now? This is Alex's mother, and who you might call your mother-in-law. But you guys aren't going to be having this wedding anymore, and I'm not going to let the two of you be married. So you can say goodbye to ever calling me your mother. What? Why are you using my mom's phone right now, Renee? That's because I left the wedding to come and see her. She had already told me she wasn't coming to the wedding, and you had lied to me, saying this was all about how your mother was sick or something. Well, I don't have the want to celebrate your happiness anymore after learning the truth, so I left to meet up with my friend, your mother. What? I found her sitting here at the local cafe she's always at, eating this really amazing-looking parfait all by herself. So I've joined her now and ordered one myself. Oh, it feels so wonderful to be in the presence of a good friend like her. And the nostalgia. Her and I always used to come to this place. What? What do you mean you used to always go there? Are you and my mom really that well acquainted with one another? That's right. Her and I have been friends for over 15 years now, I think. 15 years? I started to learn about her at this gathering for moms. It was a place for mothers struggling with raising their kids, dealing with their husband, and many other things to get together and talk. And that's where I had first met her. And that's why right now, her and I are best friends. What? At that point in time, when first meeting her, I was so burnt out by the stress of raising a child. Being married to a man who runs such a powerful company meant that I had to really raise my son into the perfect little prodigy to one day take over that company from his father. And the pressure from both my mother-in-law and the rest of his family was huge. And hearing about all the other moms who were raising their little prodigies, it just drove me up the wall. So I chose to one day go to a gathering for average moms, and there I ran into your mother. Hearing the stories from her made me feel like I was doing a great job myself as a mother and didn't need to worry about all the pressure on my shoulders. She even began to help lift me up, complimenting the ways I raised my boy and by giving me pointers. You're lying. You've known my mom for that long now? She was at those gatherings because she had just become a single mother and was looking for help herself. So in order to help one another out, we would both always meet up, even outside those gatherings, and even come to this exact cafe to chat about our lives and laugh a little. It was our way of finding that little bit of time in our lives as mothers to relax and be ourselves. What? So you guys have really been that close to one another? But as our kids began to get older and older, we became more separated due to time constraints. To think that one day we'd come back to one another because our kids wanted to get married? What a coincidence, right? I was so happy to see one of my best friend's daughters come to my house with my son to introduce herself. And I was really excited for today's wedding as well, Summer. But all of that excitement is lost now because of you ruining it all. If I'm not going to have any fun celebrating this wedding for you, then there's no point in having it at all. No way. I've already talked with both my husband and Alex, and I told them to cancel the wedding right now. I am not going to let there be a wedding between my son and someone I can no longer trust being my daughter-in-law. Now, that is going to be it from me. My parfait just got to the table, and I'd like to eat this with my friend. Hey, Mom, what the hell was that yesterday? Why did you never tell me that you were such good friends with Alex's mom?
I wasn't hiding that from you as some sort of secret or anything. We both decided to just keep it to ourselves, and so that's how things played out.
Huh? I have no idea what you mean by that. It wasn't a secret, yet you kept that fact from me? Why would the both of you choose to hide that from me anyway?
That's because the both of us really care about our family.
Huh?
We both met somewhere where we had to talk about all the drama and pain we were going through as mothers, right? Had we said that the both of us knew each other and we were friends, we'd most likely have to talk about those gatherings as well. I'm sure that you and Alex and his dad don't want to hear about any of that stuff right from your mothers. So we chose to just keep quiet about how we've known one another for so long.
But come on, Mom! You hiding that from me ruined my wedding. Had I known that you were good friends with Alex's mom, then I would have...
Had you known about all that, then you would have never told me that I'm a moneyless woman and never wanted to cut ties with me. You wouldn't have said any of that, but you would have still hated me deep down just the same. You would have just kept hiding that fact from me for the rest of your life. Alright. I'm sure my reasoning wasn't that great, so I'm sorry for hiding the truth from you. But I'm not going to hide anything else from you, so you can relax now. Now you have a good one, Summer.
Wait, Mom! Actually, I don't want to cut ties to you anymore.
Just because I happen to know Alex's mother doesn't mean you have to force yourself to call me your mother. I'm totally fine not having you around me anymore, so let's keep this whole cutting ties to one another thing going.
I'm not forcing myself or anything. If anything, I just don't like the idea of leaving you forever, so let's give all of that up. Starting today, you and I are mom and daughter again. So, can you please go and tell this to Renee for me?
What is all this about? I don't understand what's going on here currently.
Right now they are talking about ending the talks about marriage, and I am really scared. So I'd really like your help in fixing all this. I want you to do something to get your friend to accept my marriage to her son again. Right now she's so furious with me that I can't even have a conversation with her.
Whew, oh no. Renee is at that level of being upset with you then.
She's at that point where the next time I try and talk to her, she might now hold back. She always tells me that she won't let me be her daughter if I can't even understand the struggle of my own mother. And that she can't let me marry Alex if I'm never going to be thankful for the 15 years of hard work you put in for me. She just keeps going on and on about how she doesn't want me in her family anymore.
Oh my.
Renee had always been so kind to me before. I thought she'd be the perfect mother-in-law for me because I'd be spoiled. But now I can see just how pissed off even she can become.
Wow. Renee has really changed from the person she was years ago. In the past, when we had first met, she was a very quiet woman who wouldn't dare talk about her own opinions. So for the longest time, I was always telling her to always tell others how you feel, no matter how nervous you are. But to see her going all out like that with you, ooh, it warms my heart.
What am I going to do here, Mom? She isn't listening to anything I'm saying to her. She just tells me that she doesn't want to see my face anymore and sends me home while pouring water all over me. Right now I'm on my way home drenched in water.
Wow, that's amazing of her.
And when it comes to Alex, he's so shocked by what he's witnessed from me. I wanted to explain to him about how you really are poor, and so I did just that. But he replied to me saying that if we really were as poor as I've said, then I would never have been acting this way towards you. He told me that if I really can't tell the difference from being poor or being spoiled, then he doesn't want to live with me. He told me that he doesn't want to be stuck with someone that thinks they can be treated to everything, not because they were poor and without money, but because they were spoiled.
This really is such an awful time for the both of you then, huh? But I suppose he is right to say that I have spoiled you and that you are nothing more than a whining little brat.
So please, Mom, help me. You're the only person that can do something to fix all of this. You can go to them and get them both to agree to letting me into their family again.
What? You think I want to deal with all that?
If you don't do anything about this, I am seriously going to lose my only chance at becoming rich. Are you trying to tell me you're fine with your daughter's happiness being destroyed? You should be saddened by something like this as my mom. If you really love me as your baby girl, then you'll do something to fix all of this.
Well, I'm not really thinking of you as my daughter anymore.
What?
So you can go ahead and cry all you want, but your problems have nothing to do with me. If you want them both to let you into their family, then you have to find a way to rebuild the trust you had with them before. You have already cut ties with me, and I have done the same with you. So please stop asking me for help.
Wait, you're kidding, right? You're just going to throw me away now?
The one who did that first was you to me, right? So would you please cut it out with that I'm the victim BS?
But I told you that I'm not cutting ties to you anymore. Please, Mom, don't say such hurtful things to me.
Jeez. I am not your mother anymore. So please stop calling me things like Mom.
Huh?
I told you already, right? I no longer view you as my daughter. So would you please stop thinking of me as your mother now?
But, Mom!
Nope.
Well, then what am I going to do from now on? The chance is very high that I won't be able to marry Alex anymore, and now you're telling me you're no longer my mom? I'm going to be left all by myself after all this?
It's all right, Summer. You still have your father, right? Although he's still addicted to gambling and I think in prison right now. But you still have some family left.
What?
So have a great life there, Summer. If you do ever have a chance to get married, good luck having kids. You want to go on vacations overseas every year and to Disneyland as well? Make sure to give them the most rich lives you always wanted from me. That marriage between Summer and her fiancé Alex ended up not ever happening in the end, as Alex left her very soon after the canceled wedding. It seems that Summer wasn't able to do anything about Renee being so against her, and Alex being so shocked by that. It turns out that I wasn't the only person that Summer began to brag to about becoming an affluent woman, but she did the same to her friends. Telling them all that she no longer had any need for her moneyless friends and would be saying goodbye to them all. But in the end, she is now stuck living life with nobody around to help her and having to manage on her own. Just before the wedding, Summer had also quit her job, and so as of right now, she is working a low-paying job trying to figure out what to do with herself. When it comes to myself, this whole relationship between Summer and Renee's son has led me back to meeting with my longtime friend again. So we happened to go out to that cafe a lot more together again and talk about how excited we are to have our kids out of the house now. And because of that, we started working on plans to take a vacation to the Bahamas or something to help ourselves unwind a little.
Taylor, is it really true that John's condition has gotten even worse now? I heard that things have only gotten worse, so I needed to make sure that it was true. He has gotten worse. This weekend he had to be taken into the ICU for his health. But right now he's doing a lot better again and has been moved back into his room to be looked after. As of right now, he's even able to have small conversations again. What? He was able to make a comeback from that? Huh? I'm really happy to see he's made a comeback. Same here. But it's going to be some time before there's any hope of him getting out of here. Do you think you have any time this weekend to come in and see him? He would like to see all of his grandkids. I'm sure that would make my dad really happy seeing you all, and it might even make him recover even more quickly. I don't want to go see him. Hospitals have this smell to them that makes me feel sick, so it's not going to happen. What? Also, for people like him being that sick, they tend to get really thin because they can't eat as much anymore, and that's just scary to me. If I were to show the kids their grandpa while he's in that state, they might be traumatized for the rest of their life. So that's what this is about. Then how about just you and your husband come to see John this weekend? Just come in for a few minutes to see and talk to him, and that should be enough. Even the doctor is saying that would be really good for John to see some of his family soon. No way am I going there. I hate going to the hospital, and Greg is really busy with his job right now. We don't have the time or want to go and see John at the hospital right now. Are you sure? Also, there's the whole thing with his health getting even worse recently, so perhaps it's time we start preparing for the worst. Do you have any idea where John's bank information and checkbook might be? Do you know how much money he's ready to be given away as inheritance? And do you know how much he has in terms of stocks right now? What? He's going to be kicking the can pretty soon here, so it's best we start preparing for his inheritance to come through. I'm sure he's totally fine just having you at the hospital watching over him, so you can continue doing that if you want. I'll manage everything that has to do with his money and properties, all right? Don't say something so messed up as that, Brinley. What do you mean he's going to be kicking the can soon anyway? Right now, your father-in-law is trying his best to fight through this sickness. He is going to make it through this and come back home to see everyone really soon. So would you quit talking about how he's going to die like that? I understand how you want to feel about all of this, I really do. But I think it's best that we prepare for the worst, just in case. We wouldn't want to be wasting our time later on with all this when we'll want to be focused on mourning him, right? You stop all that right now. There's no point in dealing with any of his money right now anyway, right? You're too busy to come and see him in the hospital, so you must be too busy to deal with any of that right now. So leave all of this talk about his inheritance be. Greg, where are you right now? I have been telling you to come to the hospital as quickly as you can. Your dad has finally gotten out of this hospital, but as soon as we got him home, he collapsed again.
Do you have any idea what time it is? I get that it's an emergency for you, but come on, it's 3 a.m. for me. Once I've gotten my beauty sleep, I'll come to the hospital. I'm sure it's just the same old thing with him anyway, and he'll be around for me still when I get up. Once things are all handled over there and I'm awake from my sleep, I'll be over there.
I'm not messing around right now, Greg. You get your butt in here right now and see your dad. He is not doing well at all, and his breathing is getting really shallow. I think this might be it for him.
What?
So please hurry up and get to the hospital. This is not the time for you to be sleeping, all right? This might just be your last chance to ever talk to your dad again.
Are you kidding me? In other words, this means my time has come as well.
Excuse me?
Ah, nothing, Mum. Don't worry about it. I'll be on my way to the hospital right now. I'm going out to the car right now, so just wait for me a little longer.
Hey, Brinley? What the heck do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing kicking me out of there like that? The funeral is going to be starting really soon, you know? Hurry up and let me back into the building right now. I'm sorry, Taylor. There is a lot of appeal in this funeral for your son and I, so can you please just shut up and go home? Greg and I are going to be handling everything from now on, so you can go back home and mourn your husband in silence. Also, you happen to be in our way today, so please just get lost. I'm in the way? What the hell are you and Greg planning to do today with me not at my husband's funeral? I understand that Greg is the oldest of my kids, but he does not get to make the rules like that. Especially when he has no idea who all is going to be there for the funeral today. I'm sure he has an idea of what to expect, so don't worry about him. What? And what is this about today having a big appeal to the both of you? Do you both not understand that today is the funeral of my husband? Your guys' father? And I'm saying that because of that, today will have a lot of appeal to it. The CEO of the company has passed away, so now it's time for his oldest son, Greg, to take the reins and run the company. In other words, today is the day for him to make a name for himself. Huh? Of course, there will be plenty of other family members here today, but there's also going to be all sorts of bigwigs from all kinds of companies here to mourn your husband. So this is Greg's chance to make himself look good to all of them and secure his future as the next CEO. And standing next to him today will be me, the CEO's wife. I'm so glad on a day like today, both Greg and I went to the salon before this and got ourselves looking all sharp and ready for what we have to show off today. So this is what you've both been waiting for all along? You both even went to the salon together before this and got your hair done and everything? Would you please cut the crap right now, Brinley? The point of this funeral is to mourn the loss of my husband. It is not a place for you and Greg to be showing off and trying to make yourselves look good for the business. I have no idea what's gotten into the both of you thinking this funeral is meant to be a place where you need to appeal to all of those other company men. And the fact that Greg said it's his time as well now? Please do not ruin my husband's funeral like this just for your guys' selfish desires. The only person here that needs to cut the crap is you, Taylor. Your husband just died on us, and the next person in power is going to be your oldest son, Greg. Do you really think it's okay for you to be talking to the most powerful man in this family's wife like that right now? Huh? I totally understand that you still have a lot of emotions flowing through you as your husband only just passed away. But could you please pull yourself back to reality for me? After your husband's gone, it's the oldest son's turn. And since that's just happened, you are no longer the queen of the family. All you are now is some powerless old woman that we could honestly do better off without. Excuse me? I'm sure the only reason you have all that confidence in yourself right now is due to the power that your husband gave you. But those days are over for you now, so please give it up and let us take the wheel. Your days of being the ruler in the family and telling me what to do have died along with your husband's days of being the CEO. And since when have I been telling you what to do, Brinley? Huh? Tell me when you haven't been. How about that? Telling me to come see your husband as he was dying, even though I don't care for him, and telling me to bring my kids along to see him, even though his sickly body would have scared the crap out of them. Seriously, every time you tried telling me to do things, it really pissed me off. It's a waste of time to go out and see some old geezer that's about to die. Why would I ever want to do that? Did you really think that by having Greg and I there to talk to him and see him with you, he'd start to recover from whatever BS sickness he had? What the hell do you think you're saying right now? What do I think I'm saying? Well, I'll tell you. But not with words. You'll just have to wait and see, because right now I can't handle you in that attitude anymore. The funeral's about to start soon as well, so I don't have time to waste on you. I know we were just getting to the good stuff, but that'll have to wait. I'm finally going to be the wife of a CEO, and I can't believe just how much I am smiling at a funeral. What? the wife of a CEO. That's right. Remember that since now your husband is dead, he's going to be leaving a lot of money behind for us. So we're going to be taking all of that money and everything, as well as taking over the company he's left for Greg. I thought that was pretty clear to you already, though. But anyway, once he's the CEO, I'm going to be the CEO's wife, right? Did you know that ever since I was a little girl, I had always wanted to be the wife to some super wealthy CEO? So now that my dream is finally coming true for me, I just can't stop myself from smiling. I think I've had enough of you both. Especially you, though, Brinley. Kicking me out of the funeral and then taking it over as though it's meant to be about you both. And not just that, but now you think you have access to all my husband's money and his company, which has led you to grin like some maniac? You really are such a shameless woman. Well now, I'm going to have to hide this smile for the time being and put on a more serious and saddened face to trick the masses. It would be pretty wrong for me to be smiling at a funeral of all places, right? Well, you've been pretty messed up this whole time, so why hide it at all? I'm trying to text Greg right now, but he seems to be ignoring me. For some reason, I'm getting the feeling that all this isn't going to play out in your guys' favor, though. Now, I'd like you to leave the premises at once and head back home with your mouth shut for us. The CEO of the company has struck out, and the next up to bat is his oldest son. And me being his wife means that I'll become the wife of a CEO. Greg isn't even a part of the company. What? Yet you still believe that he's going to be able to get into the company and become the CEO of it right away? You must be so excited about becoming the wife of a CEO that you totally forgot about common sense. I'm sorry, but the next CEO of the company has already been decided. And of course, since Greg hasn't been working for the company at all, he is not going to be the CEO. If you understand that now, I want you to open the door for me and let me back inside. What do you mean he's not been working for the company? Greg has told me that ever since he graduated from college, he's been working for his dad's company. And when was it that he told you that? It's been 3 years now since Greg was fired from his dad's company. Huh? He was fired? Yep. He was awful at all of the work he was left to do, and that really started to piss his dad off a lot. Of course, when he got fired, it was during a time where he was supposed to be taking care of a really important customer to the company. But he cried about having to do all that work and bolted from his responsibilities. That then pushed his dad over the edge, and he said he was no longer going to deal with Greg anymore. Although my husband's first thoughts were to make Greg the next CEO someday, those thoughts quickly disappeared, and the next thing he knew, he was firing Greg. What? Wait. I never heard anything about all those events. Also, Greg has been going to work like nothing's changed forever now. Perhaps right after being fired, he was able to find some other company that hired him. I'm not sure where he could be working now, but Greg is your guys' oldest son, right? And that means he should be the next in line to take on the company from your husband. Nope. John has made it very clear to everyone at the company that the next person to be the CEO will be his son, Marcus, Greg's little brother. John told everyone that he couldn't trust his oldest son with taking on the company, so he'd be letting his second oldest handle everything next. Huh? He's letting Marcus be the next CEO? And he told that to everyone in the company already? He even wrote that down in his will. What? You were the one that told me to start thinking about all of that while my husband was still in the hospital, right? About things like his inheritance and properties? I took that as meaning I did need to get on top of some of those things, so I went and started talking to John about everything he would be leaving behind. Also, when he was out of the hospital for a day, he got one of his lawyers to come over and we wrote a new will. And you're telling me that part of the will says for Marcus to take over the company next? Unlike his dad, Marcus is a very calm and composed man. But even so, he happens to be very good at doing business and has the proof to show for it. Even other employees within my husband's company say great things about how well he does his work. For a little while, he had only been working with his dad after Greg got fired, of course, and started learning what it means to lead a company. So this was always going to happen. Marcus becoming the next CEO. But just to make sure there'd be no hiccups, we wrote it down in John's will. You're lying. There's no way. The next CEO should be the oldest. And Greg is the oldest son to John. I've never even heard of an instance where the oldest was skipped and the next in line was given the company. Well, John had no other choice. His oldest was far less competent at his job than he had thought. Huh? I'm so happy that today Marcus wasn't able to make it to the funeral. I'm sure he feels bad about having to be in New York for a business trip and all right now, but at least he doesn't have to be here when his stupid older brother and moron sister-in-law are right now. I'm sure if he was, then things would only become more messy for him. There's no way this is happening. Even Greg was saying that his time had come to me. He was so freaking excited to be the next CEO of his dad's company. Well, I can go tell him the truth right now for you, so please let me inside the building. And honestly, I'm not going to worry too much about you both believing in a fairy tale because I want to focus on my husband's funeral. Everyone else is patiently waiting for the funeral to begin, so please let me in right now. Wait. Who cares about the funeral right now? Greg and I are far more important at the moment. This is about my dream, after all. Right now, that dream is in danger of never coming true for me. So this is not the time for people to be worried about someone who's already dead. Well, if that seems to be the case for you, then I want you to go home right now. I'm not holding back anymore. I am going to the front of the building right now, and I'll let the funeral director know that you no longer should be allowed in this funeral. Actually, I'll let them know that both you and my oldest son are not allowed in here. Then you both can be escorted out by them.
Mum, what is all this about? Why am I not allowed to become the next CEO? It's not too late to make me the CEO yet. Tell that Marcus to let me be the CEO right now.
That Marcus happens to be the man your dad chose to make the CEO. He said so in his will. So I'm not going to just ask Marcus to give up the role his late father asked him to be in.
The frickin' will? Who cares what Dad said? He's dead now. Why can't you just let me be the CEO? It's not like he'll ever know that I was made the CEO, right?
What are you talking about, Greg? I will not allow you to talk about your dad and his final words like that.
But what's going on here is stupid. I get that Dad fired me from the company in the past, but I just assumed that after Dad died, you'd be willing to let me back into his company. I've believed this whole time that you would understand that the role of CEO should be going to the oldest son next. You're screwed up, Mum.
I'm not the one that's screwed up. It's you and your wife that are. What the hell happened to telling your wife that you were fired 3 years ago? Why were you trying to hide all of that from her?
I wasn't trying to hide anything from her. I just got lucky and made the money we needed from some slot machines.
Slot machines? In other words, you gambled for the money you needed? Hold it right there. So you're telling me that you didn't even end up getting hired by another company after being fired? What the hell have you been doing ever since your dad fired you?
I gave up on working and have been making all the money I need from slot machines. I've been on a massive winning streak for a while now, so I brought in more than enough money to support both myself and Bryn Lee.
You are a dad, Greg. You have children. And yet you're telling me that this whole time you've been risking your whole family's future on some slot machines? What the hell have you been thinking?
I thought that after Dad died, I'd be able to get back to work for his company. Hell, I thought I'd be back in his company long before he died. I thought me trying to act all sad and depressed around him would get him to hire me back because he felt bad. Yet for the past few years, he never talked to me, so I never had a chance to lie to him about how I was feeling. This year, he decided to get sick. It's not my fault that I had to continue gambling while Dad was fooling around by not ever talking to me and then getting deathly ill.
For Christ's sake.
Yet now I have to sit here listening to you telling me that Marcus is getting the company. If that's how things are going to be, then who cares about that stupid company? Just give me the dang money he's left for me, and I'll shut up about everything. I'll make sure to use all the money I'm getting to continue my winning streak at the casino. Did you know that I've started to go into debt waiting for Dad to get back to me about letting me work for him again? I've had to take out loans in order to keep playing the slots. If I don't start breaking even here, things are going to become really bad for me.
You've been taking out loans now?
I'm sure that Dad has loads of money in his savings that will be coming to me, right? Yeah, half will be going to you, of course, but the other half will be for his sons. But Marcus is going to be getting the company, so you can give my part and his to me. He's not going to need any of that money, right? So give me the money, and while you're at it, give me whatever stocks he has as well, right?
Greg, I have some very bad news for you.
Your dad doesn't actually have all that much money left after he passed away.
Huh? What the hell are you saying, Mum? There's no way he doesn't have tons of money still. He was the one that built that company and has been the CEO of it for over 40 years. You both happen to have that massive house, and he has multiple other properties. And what about all those high-end cars he drives? How the hell are you able to tell me he doesn't have much of anything when he's got all of that?
I'm sure you knew about how your dad ran his company all by himself, right? And of course he has a lot of land and some pretty nice cars that he drove around a lot when he was younger. But over time he's been putting all those things into his company, and now the cars and land are considered company assets. He left me with enough money to keep me happy, but the rest has all been put into the company and is not included in the will.
Huh? What's going to happen with all the money I owe? I thought Dad would have hundreds of thousands to give to me after he died. I just assumed that I'd be able to pay off all the loans after he died and be able to play more slots without going into any more debt. I thought this would be it for me, and I'd never have to worry about going into debt or having to work a job again.
You can think about what you need to do next by yourself. If you can't find a way to help your family by yourself, then you open up to Brinley about the whole truth and have her help you. And as for that debt, well, you were the one that got yourself into that mess, so you're going to have to try something in order to pay it all off. I might be getting a lot of money from your dad, but it's only enough to keep myself happy through my later years. I have something I really need to ask from you, Taylor. Can you please make Greg the CEO of the company? I'm sure that everyone within that company, as well as all the customers, want him to be the next CEO. I know for a fact if you don't make the oldest son the next CEO, then you'll be making the whole company look bad. Well, listen to this, Brinley. All of the employees within the company, as well as all the other businesses that are customers to it, have asked for Marcus to be the CEO. He's already been around all of them for years now, and every single person trusts that Marcus can get the job done right. But there is one very important problem with Marcus. He isn't even married yet, so what's going to happen to the company after he's passed away or retires? That's why right now you need to take this moment and make Greg the CEO of that company before it's too late. Huh? You're worried about what happens to the company after Marcus? I'm sure that Marcus might be good at the work he does, but he doesn't have a woman, and it seems like he never will. As far as I'm aware, he's never even had a girlfriend before, right? So there's no hope for him ever getting married now. And that means he's never going to have any kids who will be around to take on the company after him. But when it comes to your oldest son and his wife, they happen to have a really, really cute little boy, right? If you make Greg the CEO of the company right now, then there's hope that the company will continue on in this family's history. So you're trying to use your own son as a way of getting the company? Well, Brinley, did you know that you have no voice in telling Marcus who he can and can't choose as the next CEO of the company? He doesn't have to give it to anyone in the family next. He has every right to pass it on to one of his best employees, or he might even want to sell the company to someone else. So, nobody, not myself, nor you, nor Greg, has any right telling him what to do with the company when he retires. I probably won't even be around by that point, so there's nothing I can do about it. No way! I've heard about the debt your husband is in right now. I understand that you and him are trying to do everything you can to get any money left by my husband, but you need to give up. Don't tell us to give up like that. It's not as simple as you might think. Right now, our lives are on the line. Right now, Greg is in debt $30,000 to loan sharks. Really? That much? You have to do something to help us pay all of it off. This is your son's debt we're talking about. Also, I happen to be suffering a lot because of it, so as my mother-in-law, you need to help me, please. You shut the hell up right now, you complaining witch. You are both frickin' adults now with children and need to learn how to take responsibility for yourselves. I don't give a crap about that guy's debt, and I never will. Also, he happens to be your husband, so do your dang job and support him through this tough time. Back when my husband was building his company, he got into $100,000 worth of loans, and we worked together to pay all that off. So you can handle $30,000, you baby. You might have been able to handle all that, but I can't. I might be his wife, but I just can't. Then go ahead and divorce the sad loser.
It's your freaking life after all, so you decide what you want with it. Now that's it from me. I can sympathize with all the crap you're going through right now, but you have to take responsibility for it and handle it. But wait, Taylor. Are you going to leave the both of us? Aren't you going to help us out at least a little? You know dang well I'm leaving you both. I hate you guys with every bit of my heart. What? You tried to kick me out of my husband's funeral. You then went around smiling about the fact that you could use his funeral to make yourselves look good. I don't plan on ever forgiving either one of you for something as cruel as that. Yet now you're asking for my help? Absolutely not. No, wait, Taylor, that was, No, I'm going now. I don't hold any of this against my little grandkids you've given to me, but you and Greg deserve to receive all of my hate. So I really hope that you two can figure something out, for their sakes. And after that, those two idiots went to Marcus begging for him to help them on their hands and knees while they both sobbed and sobbed. So, being the kind and reserved man that he is, Marcus went and brought them into one of the factories he started to run. At first, both Greg and Brinley weren't given a very good wage or much time off from work, and they complained about it a lot. Greg would even take it up to the factory's manager at times and say that he was the brother of the CEO and deserved better. To which the manager would reply, saying that the CEO gave him permission to fire those two at any time he wanted. After saying that, Greg never once complained about the job again, and both he and Brinley have continued their work in that factory. According to some rumors, that manager actually went to school with Brinley, where she would bully him all the time. So who's to say for sure what kind of hell he's putting her through right now there? Well, as for the time being, those two idiots are going to be sweating their butts off for years to come, trying to make whatever money they can in order to pay off Greg's debt.
Adrian, where did you go? I don't see Donna around either. Are you with her?
I'm heading to the theatre to watch a musical with Mom today. We're also having dinner after the show. There's this new Italian restaurant we want to try in town.
Will it be just the two of you?
Yes. You don't have time to watch a musical, woman. You have to take care of the old fart.
You could have at least said something beforehand.
What difference would that make? You still have to stay behind and watch the old fart.
Will you stop calling him that? It's really rude to call your own father names.
But he is an old fart.
Why are you and your mother so mean to him?
He has always been such a timid, weak man. He is pathetic. He was never dependable like a man should have been for his family. And now the geezer can't do anything without a caretaker. I'm wondering when his time will finally be up.
Adrian, how dare you say anything like that? That is so mean. He didn't choose to be like this. It could happen to you too, you know? If anything is at blame here, it's his illness.
Why do you always defend the guy? Let me guess, you two are now close because you have something in common. That's something being useless.
You think we're useless?
He is a huge burden. And you're not able to give me a child. Wouldn't you agree that a barren wife is simply useless? You've ruined my future plans.
For that, I actually am sorry.
My mom can't believe we've been married for 5 years and you're still not pregnant. She says I must have married the wrong woman. The only thing you can do to help your family now is to take care of the old fart.
I never said that I didn't want to take care of John, nor have I ever considered him to be a burden. He has been nothing but kind to me. I am happy to take care of him if that is what I need to do.
He's saying nice to you because he is a loner. Because he never had anyone on his side. Yeah, he's probably excited to finally have a friend who's similar to him.
You have no respect for him. He doesn't deserve this kind of treatment. I feel horrible for your father.
Why would you?
All that money you and your mother used to go to musicals and extravagant restaurant, it belongs to John.
Yeah, that's the only thing I like about him. But it's not like he earned or worked hard to get any of it.
Don't start, Adrian.
Why not? You know he just got lucky to be born into a rich family. Besides, he doesn't even know how to use the money right. He used to buy worthless stocks and stupid stuff that doesn't pay. So now, we are using it effectively for him.
Effectively? You only wasted on unnecessary clothes and overrated food. And to note, he may be handicapped, but he is totally clear-headed. Can't you imagine how hurt he must be from being mistreated by you two?
Like I care. The old fart's dying anyway. He probably doesn't care much either. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we're going on vacation to the Caribbean. We leave tomorrow.
Oh, to the Caribbeans? That's quite sudden.
I've been planning it for a while. Guess I never told you. We're going on a cruise ship for 2 months.
I see. What about your father?
It'll just be me and my mom going. You should feel lucky to have you while we're gone.
Me? You were leaving us both?
Duh! How could I take someone so slow on vacation with me? And if he's staying behind, his caretaker also has to stay behind too, right?
So I am being left here as well. I am ashamed of myself for getting my hopes up for a second.
You thought you had a chance to join? See, we're not evil, though. We know we can't leave him all alone in this house without a caretaker. I mean, we must avoid getting accused of if something happens to him. So the two of you can enjoy spending more time together in your losers club. Plus, I don't want to travel with my mom. It'll not be fun with useless people.
What?
I'm talking about you and my father, of course.
So you two are going to spend all that money on yourselves again. How much does a cruise ship cost anyway? It must be a fortune to be on it for 2 months.
Yeah, it was expensive, but hey, we have a lot of money. I haven't traveled much lately, so I've been wanting to do this. I want to show Mom the beautiful beaches.
Like I warned you before, it's not your money, it's your father's. You should take him if you're using what belongs to him.
What is his now will soon be ours. That's none of your business anyway. We will decide the best way to use our family resources. I'll buy you back some souvenirs if I'm feeling nice enough.
You know that John's health hasn't been great lately. How can you leave him and go on vacations freely?
Yeah, I'm sure it's just a cold or something. Like I said before, I really don't care. He can die while we are gone. That's what he decides to do.
I'm sorry, but you and Donna are heartless and very, very selfish.
Never a problem with us.
I only have problems with you two. What did John or I do to deserve this kind of treatment? Do you think you become king or something?
Shut up! You will not talk to me like that ever. You're nothing but a housewife. I could kick you out, you know. How are you gonna live if I kick you out of this house, huh?
John is going to be furious when he finds out how you're wasting his money again. He won't stay quiet forever. You will someday regret that you ever underestimated him.
What could he do with his handicapped body? If he has the nerve to do anything, I'll make him pay. I will beat the crap out of him. I bet it'll be super easy to beat someone on a wheelchair.
You are so nasty, Adrian, really. I am so annoyed at myself for marrying a monster like you.
Yo, you at home, right? We're heading back from the airport now. We need to prepare us some food because we're hungry. The food on the cruise was amazing. But I miss a good old home-cooked meals.
Welcome back. I was beginning to wonder if you guys were ever coming home.
You definitely didn't want to. And you know what? I just realized I didn't buy anything for you two. My bad, totally forgot.
Where are you now?
Oh, we're on the cab. We'll get home in a few minutes. Both of us are starving. Need to make something quick.
You could have let me know earlier.
I want to have nice and warm soup, and maybe some roast chicken. Oh, and mashed potatoes on the side.
The first thing on your mind is what you want to eat for dinner? You don't want to ask how we've been doing after being away for 2 months. Perhaps ask if John is doing well or not?
I don't give a damn about how you two are doing. We're exhausted. I'm telling you to start cooking, now. We'll be home in no time.
You really are a piece of crap. Your dad should have disowned you much sooner.
Watch yourself, woman! You think you own the house now or something, just because we've been gone for 2 months.
No, I'm just telling you the truth.
Hey, what the hell? Where's my house? Why is everything gone?
Welcome home to nothing. You pretty much asked for it. You and Donna are paying for what you have done.
What the hell are you talking about? What is going on?
I warned you that John would be furious.
Just tell me what is going on. My mom can barely stand straight from the shock. Did the old fart do this?
The house was taken down and the land sold away.
Excuse me, what the hell did you do?
It wasn't me. Your dad decided on it and did everything himself. By the way, that's not all. He changed every asset he owns into cash, including his car and stocks.
Why would he do that? What the hell is wrong with him? Has he finally lost his mind?
He did it as soon as you left. He called his real estate agent, his lawyer, his accountant, everyone who could help. You should have seen how fast things can move in a matter of days. I was ready to move out a week after you started your vacation.
Where the hell are you now?
I'm back at my parents' for now. Your dad was kind enough to pay for my flight and all.
I never gave any permission to do such things. You can't just decide to take down the house.
Like I said, your father did, not me. Also, we are getting a divorce. I'm sorry to put this on your plate when you have a lot to worry about, but I'm sure you can handle it.
You can't make that decision on your own.
Oh, but I did when you left me here with John. He helped me find a good divorce lawyer, you know? Plus, he offered to pay for the fees too.
That weak-old geezer really did all this to get back at us? He must have gone crazy. I mean, he took his own house down. I can't do this to his own family.
You and your mother pulled his trigger, but he said he wanted to do it for me too. That he was ready to beat you up for how you have treated me, but he can't physically, so he's done his style.
So that's why he's paying for your lawyer on top of everything else? To punish me?
He is ready to testify about how you treated me if it comes down to it. He wants to make sure I win money from you. Oh, and also, he's divorcing your mom. He doesn't want her anymore.
He can't just leave her. She is old. How is she going to live?
You tried to kick me out before, didn't you? Isn't it the same thing?
I was just threatening you. I was not being serious.
Well, like I said, you brought this upon yourselves. You've crossed way too many lines because John never said anything. But you should have realized that he was just being nice to you too. You've woken up the sleeping giant with your arrogance.
This is all a joke. He should be thankful that we agreed to live with him. Instead of kicking him out, we took care of him when he became handicapped.
He has to be thankful that he got to live in his own house? Honestly, I think it would have been much better for him if he left sooner. At least that way, he could have gotten away from you bullies.
Shut up! You don't understand anything. Clearly it's better for old people to stay home.
The only reason why you didn't send John to an assisted living is because you didn't want to spend money on it. You were too cheap to use money on him. And that's when you realized that you can use me, for free, to take care of him.
I gave a useless baron a role in the house. You piece of crap! Neither of you will get away with this.
Wow, you still think you're better than us, although you don't even have a place to go home to. How pathetic.
No matter what he does, I have the right to keep my peace as his heir. Now tell me what that old fart is. I will take everything away from him.
He put himself in a high-end assisted living community, and I don't think he has much left.
What?
He paid what is worth 5 years in assisted living up front. It really is expensive, isn't it? He also told me that most of what could be changed to cash is gone.
That can't be.
Well, it's his money. He can use it any way he pleases. You really can't do anything about it.
And what about my share?
Too bad. But I don't think there's any. I mean, there's nothing left to give.
Tell me where he is!
You think I would tell you so you can go beat him? The facility has been alarmed about you anyway. The guards will follow you to his room if you ever go see him.
That son of a bitch!
He's only doing what is necessary to protect himself. By the way, you should really consider your attitude. I don't think you fully understand the situation you are in now.
Good morning, Kathy. I'm sorry I got a little heated yesterday and said rude things to you. Can we please sit down somewhere and discuss things now that I'm calm?
Oh, I don't mind. I'm used to you saying rude things to me. And so is your father.
I admit I have been terrible to my dad. Both me and my mother regret the way we have treated you both. Our sincere apologies.
Wow, what a change. Do you finally understand? Do you get who has the upper hand now?
We do. We have been a bit too selfish about everything.
It's so funny how you were trying to be nice. You were so worried after what you will have left after our divisions, aren't you? Because you realize if you pay me anything, you'll be broke.
My mom and I have lost everything. I'll have to look after her from now on.
Yes, you will. And you will have to do all the working because she can't do anything.
You're right. That is why I must save as much money as possible, so...
So, what is it?
Our division should be 50-50 at most, please.
Nope.
Why?
All this time you spent as much as you wanted, however you pleased. Why don't you try to live low-key for once?
Kathy, I don't think you understand. We won't be able to get by. and my money will be gone in a matter of months.
But you have a job, and Donna will have her pension money. Surely you'll be able to get by as long as you don't splurge.
No, it won't be enough! How do you expect my mother to suddenly live low-key after all these years?
Are you still dreaming? You people don't have any other choice. No matter how hard Donna cries, she cannot live the way she has before. She needs to understand that things have changed.
But...
And that she is also a significant part of the reason why things have changed. And to be clear, you can't live the same way as before either. You should have gotten a higher paying job when you could, Adrian. Too bad you were never serious about your career, because you were too dependent on your father's money.
I never imagined my dad would do anything like this. I mean, who would ever? Take down the house, sell everything? All because he wanted to get back at his own son and wife?
He was determined. He said he only had bad memories in that house. But I know deep down, he was sad to destroy something he originally built for his family.
I understand he was mad at us, but he has gone too far.
Well, he must be holding a serious grudge. Honestly, I thought he was going a bit overboard too at first, but now, I think you two got what you deserved. I've only lived with you and Donna for 5 years, but John has been tolerating you two for decades. It's quite scary to piss off someone you assume to be gentle, isn't it? It's quite funny how you got bit in the ass, though. I wonder who really was the burden after all. Our lawyers handled the meetings towards divorce after that. I was able to prove Adrian mistreating me with the help from John, so I was able to win a significant amount of divisions. Adrian was left with very little money to take care of himself and his mother. He didn't fight for it in the end, under the condition that I refrained from suing him for emotional distress, which I had originally planned. I agreed because I figured I felt that I had gotten enough revenge. By the way, Donna and John's divorce was basically the same case, with Donna winning very little money from him due to her mistreatment of John. Both John and I were very happy about the outcome. I guess John's payback was not enough to really change the two though, because even after the whole thing, Adrian and Donna couldn't stop living the way they used to. Donna, having no sense of what it means to live low-key, kept spending the same way as before, dining out at expensive restaurants and buying herself unnecessary clothes. Adrian wasn't any better, spending money at the casino in hopes of winning, which of course never happened. They were in debt before they even realized, and Adrian had to borrow money from friends and family to pay it off. He had trouble paying any of his friends back, which left him friendless. Soon after, I returned to my hometown. I began dating an old schoolmate. He helped me gain confidence in myself again, and we got married shortly after. I was very thankful for John for helping me get back on my feet so that I could start a new life. I made sure I visited John at least once a year after my divorce from Adrian. But he quietly passed away 5 years later, as if he knew that he'd only need to pay the facility for 5 years' worth. He never told me he was fighting cancer for the last 2 years of his life. I bet he fought to live exactly 5 years, so that Adrian couldn't try to get the leftover money back from this facility in case he died earlier. I guess his grudge was just that deep. I still feel bad that he had to go through what I consider as abuse from his own family, but also glad that I was there for him in his final years. He seemed quite satisfied and entertained that he got his payback time. Too bad Adrian and Donna had to learn that it's a better idea not to wake a sleeping giant.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.